Good evening, everyone. This is the Rooftop Sports, and here we are with Jay Trident Podcast, who is here, but only for the first 3 innings because Scott Service is still putting him on a tight leash. I mean, Trident, does Scott think you're getting Tommy John surgery just for sitting down and doing a show or something?
35 pitches. I did have to put the trash out tonight, so arm is a little sore. So I'm the opener today, apparently.
I mean, to be fair, the Mariners did have a business where in 2000 they did have a yard work business. Remember Aaron Seeley with the lawnmower, and he was like, "I'm tired," and then Lou's like, "All right, Arthur, you're coming out," and Dan Wilson was the one like backing him up. So I guess Scott is still with you, but you did bring up something very interesting today that Casey Sadler was at, I believe, Scott Service's event or whatever it was. Yeah, what exactly happened? And I mean, it's kind of like eye-opening now.
Yeah, I didn't listen to the whole thing. I guess it was on his podcast that he was mentioning that, there was just same things that kind of Cameron Maben had said about Scott, not the best communicator. That there was some opinions in the clubhouse that weren't always listened to. I don't know what that all means. And then he was at one of Scott's charity events. I don't know when it was, and Scott kind of ignored him out of nowhere or something like that. So just, kind of some things coming out here that Scott may have not been. And that was kind of always my saving grace for Scott. Why I defended him at times was I kind of thought, like, listen, I think the guys buy into him. I think they like him. And, that they're willing to play hard for him. And again, Sadler and Maben are two people. I'm not going to just say that's 100% how it was, but certainly, some interesting stuff coming out. And I think the right decision was made to let go of them, and I think there needs to be more.
Oh yeah, I think next thing to talk about, we're talking about Jerry DiPoto, because he's the one that put together this team. He traded Eugenio Suarez away, and honestly, at this point, I think trading him away would have been the equivalence of Woody Woodward trading away Jay Buhner, because both of them, yes, they struck out a lot, but they made up for something. Leadership kept the superstar loose, like Jay Buhner kept Griffey loose, Suarez kept Julio loose. Great defense, great bat, and now they're gone. So I'm hoping that if the Mariners season ends the way it does, as we are expecting, hopefully that this will be it for Jerry DiPoto, because I think we can all agree that I think his time is ticking on him. I think at some point at the end of the season they just got to move on. Like, I cannot fathom one more year with Jerry. I just can't see it. Something tells me it will happen. He'll get one more year, but I think it's time, personally.
I got a question for you, because I'm with you. I agree. I don't think he's going to be fired. I think it's time to get somebody in here that can try to get this team over the top. Clearly this front office just can't seem to do it. But so here's my question for you. I don't know if it was a Jerry or ownership decision to hire Dan, right? I'm not sure who made that final call, unless something came out that I didn't read. If it was Jerry, then you'd have to assume he's safe, right? Because they wouldn't give him free reign to hire a manager and not give him the interim tag. If it was ownership, that puts you in a tough spot too, because then if you do move on from Jerry, a new GM is going to want his guy. I'm not picking on Dan one way or the other, but a new ownership group may not want Dan, or excuse me, a new general manager may not want Dan Wilson. So even that, you've kind of fumbled potentially a little bit, because you know what I mean? I'm not sure which way you go with that. What's your thoughts on that?
I really do think it was ownership. I cannot envision seeing Jerry DiPoto make that kind of a hire, because he did hire Scott Service based on the friend, wanted to help him become a manager, which didn't work out. And now I'm pretty sure they don't even talk to each other anymore, just because the way it was handled. Now you can say that, I mean, don't forget, Scott Service didn't even mention Jerry DiPoto's name. So I think, Jerry DiPoto fumbled on a lot of things. He even fumbled on his own friend. So I do think it's ownership, the 95 nostalgia, 2001 nostalgia. Dan Wilson's a cool name. So I do think it was purely an ownership move for basically PR damage control, because some of the things we saw from Scott Service, most of those press conferences he did, he just sounded dead. He just sounded just completely out of it. Yeah. And then for someone to have Dan Wilson, you can at least soften the blow PR wise. But towards the end of the season and the way they've been playing the last 3 games, or last 4 even, last 3 games really, it may not even matter if the Mariners don't turn this around. If it doesn't turn around, like if they miss the playoffs, like sure, we're not going to put 100% on Dan Wilson, even though I have criticized him for like making that, like maybe don't put Victor Robles in the starting line and the leadoff spot, or maybe this, but that's just me nitpicking, really. And of course, no manager is going to be free from criticism, but I'm just happen to be the first ones to do it. But I think at the end of the season, if it does end the way it does, like missing the playoffs, then I think it really should be open game no matter what, because there's got to be other options out there. Like Joe Madden, if he's still willing to do it. Like if there's any manager that's winning proven, that's the thing. The way I want to approach it, I either want it to be Dan Wilson or someone that's literally a proven winner. I don't want to play the money ball game where like, oh, we found this manager off the street. I don't think the Mariners have like the time to even do that because of Logan Gilbert, George Kirby, Cal Raleigh are going to be up for contracts. And with that timing, I think you want to bring in a winner, because that's what the Mariners did in the 90s. They brought in Lou Piniella when they had that kind of core with Ken Griffey Jr., Edgar Martinez, Alex Rodriguez, Randy Johnson, and they knew that they had to at least compete for a World Series. And I don't think like hiring someone like the way they did before, like a Don Wakamatsu, or if they hired someone like a Lloyd McClendon. I mean, he doesn't even have good experience, but I think they got to hire someone with actual winning experience. I know the whole thing of you don't have to be experienced to be good, but I think we want someone that actually has won. Like I'll even take like Eric Wedge or Mike Hargrove for this team if that's what it took, if they were at least 10 years younger or 20. You're muted or your volume's gone. Oh, Trident. I think the wear and tear is already happening on you. And there he goes. Ah, there it goes. But I'm sure he'll be back. I have no doubts. Let's look at the comments. Hey, Christian, how's it going? Crimson, how's it going? Emmett Brown says, it means Scott was an idiot and Dan and Edgar need a full season to get our guys right. Well, we'll see. Just depends who that GM is going to be. If Scott got 10 years, Edgar better at least get 2 full years. You know, that's a fair point. It looks like we're getting ready for this game in just a few moments. And I think I better change the background of my... Well, there he is. Came back so soon.
So soon. The mic is having lots of time too. I just pulled on the cord. So
he's about to start. And I was actually planning to go to Oakland this year, but timing just wasn't there for me. And the sad thing is I won't have an opportunity to watch Mariners versus Athletics for the final time here in the Oakland Coliseum, as this is the third to last game. The Mariners are going to be playing Oakland if the Vegas plan goes the way it does and the Sacramento plan goes the way it does. This is it. This could be it in Oakland. And do you have any quick thoughts or quick memories about Oakland A's baseball versus the Mariners or the Coliseum if you have memories there?
Oh, yeah. I used to live in the Bay Area. I would go to every Mariners A's game. And I think from 03 to 05, I went to every Mariners A's game in Oakland. You know what? I had a blast there. $1 hot dog Wednesdays. Like, certainly not a stadium that is going to inspire a lot of, but it had a certain nostalgia to it. I am going to miss the Coliseum. I'm not going to lie.
I am too, because when I saw, oh shoot, the game's already started, which by the way, this show is brought to you by SeatGeek. Use the promo code RoofTopSports for your $20 off. And now that's a 1-0 count on JP Crawford. You like that. And now here's the pitch. And that is a strike. So yeah, I mean, I only had like 2 brief memories of the Oakland Coliseum. I went to in 22 when Robbie Ray pitched with my cousin. We actually went on a road trip from Sacramento to Oakland, and now here's a ground ball. Actually, we stayed in San Francisco in Union Square because I hate to say it, Oakland, but who in the world? I hate to say it. I'm sorry, Oakland, but I don't go there for vacation. I just won't do it unless it's a game. The pitch. And now here's a ground ball, and that will get right through for a base hit. And JP Crawford gets the first base with the
first hit since he came back.
Yeah, and you know, my friend Greg, your number one fan, I think he is your number one fan. Greg. He said, "Oh man, I can see why you hate Jerry. I hate this stupid lineup. I hate Jerry. I hate JP Crawford leading up." But here's my thing: JP Crawford is a leadoff hitter, and Victor Robles actually drives in runs. So I still think. I know a lot of people hate JP Crawford now, but I still think putting him in as a leadoff was the correct move. And now here is Julio Rodriguez, and now here's the pitch. And that is outside for a ball. And that is going to be a 1-0 count. And now Julio, he's been playing pretty well. A 5'8", 65 OBP. So he's actually been picking it up. Not exactly playing like last year's numbers, but at least something that we would have taken just a month ago or 2 months ago. Or at least throughout the season. If he was averaging like, I don't know, whatever is better than what we got now.
been more patient at the plate too. He's been more selective. It's been good to see. He's looked better. He legitimately has.
And I do think that some of that credit can go to Edgar Martinez and Dan Wilson for the approach, because when it was, I hate to say it, when it was Scott Service, it was like swing at will. Like if he was like a fire general, he would say literally fire at will at basically, he'd say fire at will on a freaking hole in the pitch. And now here's a fly ball to deep left field, and that is going to get over the head for a base hit. And JP Crawford's going to go to third base, and Julio Rodriguez will get into second with a double, and the Mariners have runners on second and third. And what a hit by Julio Rodriguez.
And you know, to your point about that, I wonder if there is, you know, some legitimate truth to that. Not so much that Scott was probably going, hey, swing at everything, but I think there was a lot of, hey, these guys are just, this is how they are, and we're not going to change their approach. You know what I mean? Or I wonder if Dan and Edgar are legitimately trying to tweak things with these guys a little bit. So I do think there's some truth to that 100%.
Yeah, I mean, that's how much, and it's not because, with my whole criticism on Scott Service, it wasn't because I hate him as a person. He's a probably a cool dude, but I just don't like what I'm seeing. And here's the pitch to Cal Raleigh, and it's outside for a ball. And the thing is, I wish he did well as a manager. I really wish he did. That way I don't have to complain about him so many times. Like, man, throughout my channel, I think 40% of my channel was basically kicking Scott Service like a dead horse in the pitch. And now here is a line drive, and that's going to get in the gap for a base hit. That's going to score 2 runners in, and the Mariners take a 2-0 lead on a 2-run RBI double by Cal Raleigh. 2-0 lead for the Mariners already. What a way to get this started.
Here earlier. Gin or Gin is a little bit of a rough start. 3 straight hits. Balls hit pretty hard too.
And I just added him to my fantasy baseball team this morning because I'm in a playoff run with your favorite fan, Greg.
The man, the myth, the legend. Don't know him, but love him.
He's going to laugh at, and he's kicking my butt this week too. Now here's Randy Arozarena, the pitch. And that is going to be in there for a strike. And let's hope that Arozarena does not kill this rally, because Mariners do have something going on that is really good.
Offense has been better. Not good, but it has been better, I will say.
If only we had this, and here's the pitch. If only we had Dan Wilson in April. Imagine that start that they would have had. It would have been a much better start. Wouldn't have had that 6-10 start. Maybe like a 9-7 start or an 8-8 start, probably, maybe. And we would have taken that.
Yeah, they probably should have made the move in the offseason.
1-1. Well, I said that.
Last offseason.
I said that. I said it as far as after 2018. And everyone's like, no, you got to give him a chance to the rebuild. He had to go through the Jack Zarenzik inheritance. I'm like, no. And now the 1-2 pitch to Arozarena, and now here's ground ball foul. Yep. But yep. It seems that maybe I'll make a Scott. No, I gotta stop with the Scott. I gotta let it go, man.
me too. I keep mentioning in my videos. I'm like, okay, he's gone. Like,
we gotta let it go.
Yeah, Yeah.
We can't change the past.
But stuff keeps coming up too, though, so it's hard to, not talk about it a little bit.
I mean, Percy Harvin got plenty of attention after that trade because that's when the news broke out in the 1-2. And a swing and a miss, strike 3, and a Rosarena kills it. Like, we should be complaining about that Rosarena swings at literally everything. And now we can understand why the Rays sold him off, because they're like, well, he does strike out a lot and he is kind of a flashy guy. He's all about the flash and not so great defense. And by the way, JT Ginn, man, Jamie Moyer would be that kind of guy, because look at the lack of fastball that he throws. And now the pitch to Luke Raley, and that is outside for a ball. Luke Raley, one of the home run leaders of this team in such limited time, batting .235 with 17 home runs and 44 RBIs. And now we're looking at the 1-0. And here is the pitch. And that's a ground ball foul. Now, despite how awful that this last week has been for the Mariners, a lot of people have given up. Maybe some content creators are like, just going to take this as a have fun approach. But it's people like you and I that are just still hanging on content-wise. And now the pitch.
Yep.
And that is a ball. Like, I had people, at least one person, say, Mariners don't deserve your attention. Like, just focus on football. Like, no, I have to keep the consistency. I have to cover. I got to finish the season at least.
Yep. Made it this
and
far.
Now we made it this far in the 2-1. And you know what? Even for a season like 2004, 2008, like a 2011 season when they lost like 20 something in a row, I'm still covering this team. I still would have covered this team like a maniac. And now we're looking at the 3-1 for Luke Raley. Has an advantageous count. And now the pitch. And that is strike 2. Didn't want it, but that was a pretty good pitch to swing. And BC does say that Shohei Ohtani is on pace to get 50-50 club, which I think that will happen. And now we're looking at the 3-2 for the Luke Raley. And now the pitch. And that is strike 3 called, and Luke Raley kind of knew it. His reaction was kind of like a brain fart kind of reaction, where he was like, oh yeah, that was a strike.
Not sure what he's looking for in that at bat.
Yep, he definitely had a brain fart. That's definitely a brain fart. We've all had those. And now here's Jorge Polanco, and just as soon as the rally happened by Cal Raleigh, it's all broken up by Rosarena and Luke Raley. Here's Polanco, and that is going to be outside for a ball. Jorge Polanco has picked it up in the second half, but I don't know if it's going to be enough to even justify giving him a team option. And knowing the cheap ownership, I don't think they're going to do it. And I don't even know if they should anyway.
Again. And now he's slumping again a little bit.
1-0, and now here's the foul ball. You are correct. But, the ironic thing is, if you want someone with 2 outs with runners in scoring position, surprisingly, Polanco's actually your guy. 286 with 12 home runs. So I guess in some ways, he is clutch. So that's the weird thing that second basemen have in the Mariners in their history, is they're strangely clutch the 1-1. And that is a ball. Like, we've had Brett Boone, Joey Cora with his clutch bunting. I guess David Bell as a second baseman had clutch moments. Brett Boone obviously was a clutch player. Jose Lopez for Adam Frazier.
Pretty clutch.
Robinson Cano, you have to assume, has some kind of clutch.
Yeah.
Abraham Toro, even.
Yeah, true.
So Mariners have like a weird, and Colton Wong with a grand slam last year, or whatever it was. I don't think it was grand slam, but he had something.
He had that home run against Minnesota that would have won it, but then they blew it in the 9th.
Imagine if they won that game.
Ugh.
And that is a strike 2. They win that game, they make the playoffs, and maybe Colton Wong would have still be on this team, or still would have been on that team for the remaining. So maybe he got screwed over at the very last second, but should have performed earlier. And now we're looking at the 2-2 for Polanco in the pitch. And once again, a swing and a miss, strike 3. That was like, thank God for J.P. Crawford, Julio Rodriguez, and Cal Raleigh, because without that, it would have been nothing. But we're going into the next part of the inning. 2-0 Mariners.
Yep. I mean, better. May Ginn, is it Ginn? Jin throw 26,
JT
27
Ginn.
pitches. JT Ginn. So through 26, 27 pitches. You got to see Mason Miller's probably available tonight. So you'd like to add on, get a lead and not have to see him tonight. So need Castillo on his game. I don't know if you saw that little graphic that they posted, but Mariners 28-41 on the road this year. That's unacceptable. I mean, you got to find a way to win some of these games. Yeah. I didn't realize it was that bad. It makes sense. It just, I hadn't looked at the number before. So that's not acceptable. Not going to get it done.
It's stuff like that is why I think the whole T-Mobile argument should be 100% debunked, because yes, the Mariners struggle offensively. Maybe it's T-Mobile Park, but they still find ways to win games at home. And then when they're on the road, if their offense sucks, you can't really blame T-Mobile Park for that.
Right.
Which is why I think it's a very rhetoric kind of narrative to run, is like, oh, T-Mobile Park's the problem. Yes, we've had Griffey complain, Mike Cameron complained, but at the same time, players have figured it out. And I know I've said it so many times.
Well, and look at the pitching, right? Fine. You want to do some things with T-Mobile, fine, make the offense a little more, but the pitching has not been nearly as good on the road this year as at home. So you're going to sacrifice pitching. Bottom line, you need good baseball players. You know what I mean? Like, both teams are playing in the same park during the game. So, and the Mariners are good at home.
Figures it out. Yeah, Mariners do great at home. Yeah, that's why the T-Mobile thing is kind of it's a very useless argument.
Yeah, it doesn't. It's like the Seahawks. I mean, they've been as good at home. Oh my, never mind. You know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, they had problems at home sometimes. The Seahawks.
Yeah, but they've lost.
2019, they kept losing to mobile quarterbacks.
They've lost the Lumen Field mystique's gone away a little bit. I'm hoping with McDonald it comes back a little bit this year and the fans are back in it.
Yeah. When you said McDonald, I was like, wait, they renamed it to McDonald Stadium?
McDonald's Field at Ronald McDonald Park.
Now here's the 1-1 and a swing and a miss, strike two. And we're looking at the 1-2 to Lawrence Butler. When was the last time you had a McDonald's?
Actually, I had their breakfast just a couple days ago before work. I had a sausage egg McMuffin.
Isn't their breakfast so... Whew, their breakfast is... Yep. People hate their lunches and their burgers, but you don't know one person that will talk crap about their breakfast. You'll never hear that.
Sometimes I get, I'm like, I think that's been sitting there for 5-10 minutes.
That's how it works, yeah. As we're looking at the 2-2 to Lawrence Butler. Last 7 games, though, 469 with 6 home runs and 10 RBIs. I wonder if he is also one of the new young guns that Oakland continues to keep breeding, and he is. He's only 23 years old. Yeah, that's exactly
good. Yeah.
And don't forget, they're going to go to, I know that they're going to play in Sacramento in a very low quality minor league stadium, but hey, you can't go worse than the freaking Coliseum. And Sacramento fans, they will rally for their team. The 2-2. And now here's a fly ball to deep right center field, and that is gone. And Luis Castillo, once again, gives up a home run like in the first inning, and that is a home run to Butler. And Castillo, that seems to be his tradition, giving up the early home run. And now it's a 2-1 ball game for the Mariners. It was just so quickly, and hasn't even gotten one out yet, but that was beautifully hit by Butler. And by the way, that's his 20th home run of this season, so he is one of the young guns. The pitch to, and now here is a base hit to center field. So much for a 2-0 lead. Like if I was in Vegas, I definitely would have cashed in on that one. Do you agree when writers make the argument Mariners have the best rotation all time? Ha ha. Every time we get a lead first, woo. Yep. It sounds like it, doesn't it? And now we're looking at next hitter. You got to find a way to get a double play. And now the pitch. And that is a strike. I think you have to get Tommy John surgery, man.
It's this team. I can't do it anymore.
No,
They
this team's problem. And here's JJ Bleday. And by the way, Oakland's offense isn't too shabby. Just looking at him,
pretty good.
Now here's a fly ball, and Randy Arozarena is there, and he makes the catch. And tagging at second, and the throw to second. And wow, wasn't really much paying attention. No, not a little bit of lack of awareness, or it was just Rooker was just on the hustle and on top of it. Now you got a runner in scoring position. And to see the next batter, it's going to be Shane Langoliers. And I'm going to say it. I know it's going to be an unpopular opinion, but I'd intentionally walk him. Get the double play going. As we are looking at a 1-0 count on Shea Langoliers. Also a power hitter for this team. How many actually quality hitters does Oakland have on this team? It's certainly enough to cause a problem.
Just get some average pitching, they could be 500. Truthfully, second half of the year, they've been closer to that. They've been a legitimately decent baseball team here. Definitely, I think, trending in the right direction for next season. Like you said, they're going to start spending more. Division's going to be tough. Houston's still good. Texas can spend. Even the Angels have some guys that are.
They have guys in many years of club control. Like,
yep,
Angels aren't the joke team that we remember as much. It was the only reason that they were joke because of the bad timing, the pitch, especially when you have Mike Trout being hurt. Shohei Ohtani was on his way out, so of course the timing was just really bad. So this is why I wanted the Mariners to really get it right and make the playoffs, because you can't just sit around and just hope that other teams are going to struggle. It's like, no, it's going to be the complete opposite. Houston's still going to be around. And now the pitch. And that was the hope that I had at the end of 2018 when I was actually a proponent of blowing it up, because it was like, well, if Houston's too overpowered right now, just wait till it dies. And then of course it never died.
It just doesn't.
But that's what we were banking on. But we were right about Oakland dying off. I was right about that. Well, not right about that, but I was banking on it.
Well, and I will say this, Houston certainly hasn't died off, but they're more susceptible this year. They certainly weren't quite as dominant. So I'm not claiming they've died off at all. I still think they could end up winning the World Series, to be honest, but they've definitely been more beatable. Yeah.
It's anyone's game. Mariners are 23 and 23 in one-run games, just like they are 69 and 69. The pitch outside for a ball. I mean, if you walk Shea Langoliers, at least you got a double play opportunity. Ricky Henderson retro bobblehead night coming up real soon.
That's pretty cool.
They got to sell off any of that kind of nostalgia as much as they can before they move to Sacramento in the 3-2. I think at this point, if you're an Oakland fan, you're actually rooting for Sacramento to work out, because that is Jeff Fisher's plan B, is to have the team in Sacramento. But the thing is that Sacramento has to come up with another stadium. And after what they went through with the Sacramento Kings, I don't know if the city would even entertain that. As we're looking at a 3-2. But man, I've seen videos of Oakland and what's the way to explain it? I'll just say that my friend says that she would rather sleep in a parking lot in Tacoma than spend any time in Oakland. And I think that's pretty accurate. As we are looking at the 3-2 for Shea Langoliers. And now here's the pitch. And that's going to be a swing and a miss, strike 3, as Langoliers will go down in strikes. And now we've got 2 outs. So Castillo has found a way to figure this out. And the interesting thing is I was the one that really wanted the walk. But when I talked to Jeff Becerro today, he said that there were times where it is okay to not only just work the count on a pitch, on a hitter, but if it was a 3-2, he's okay with walking, because at least you can set up a double play. And with his forkball, he would pitch into quite a bit of those.
Yeah, makes sense.
Now the pitch to Seth Brown and a swing and a miss. I mean, that's what I do in softball. Like, if I have a guy that's like co-ed softball, if I have like an overpowering hitter that has really hit off of me really well, I am going to walk him and let the girl take care of it. And now here's the 0-1. And that is popped up into left field, and Rosarena should be there. And he makes the catch, and that's going to retire the side. We go to top of the second. Unfortunately, Luis Castillo gave up a home run, but hopefully that's the only home run he gives up, because that's what he tends to do. He always gives up that early home run. And here we are, 2-1.
Kevin, just to answer your question about Seahawks making the playoffs, I saw that in there. I'm not sure. Schedule's really tough. You got the Bills, the Dolphins, obviously Rams twice, 49ers twice. I think the Cardinals are going to be better. Falcons are going to be tough on the road. So Jets, if Aaron Rodgers is healthy, is going to be a tough game. I think they could go 8-9 wins, but be a much better team than they were last year. I don't know.
Hopefully they'll look better than, yeah.
I want to see them more competitive. What I want to see is when they play San Francisco on Thursday night, not them just getting boat raced up and down the field for 4 quarters. They lose the game 24-21, and it's a hard-fought battle. I can stomach that.
We can stomach that, of course, and whew, Seahawks season's getting close, and the thing is, it's like, a part of me is like, I'm ready for the season, but the other part of me is like, but we still have Mariners baseball. I don't want this to end. Like, I'm still in that feeling. I know a lot of Mariner fans have already, or Seattle fans have already moved on. It's like, yeah, here, Seahawks is coming, but I'm like, no, I am not. And as a negative as a fan as I am, I'm still clinging on to hope. I mean, look at the Randy Quaid from Major League. Although he was the most negative fan, but he was also the most loyal fan. Look at how he had season tickets and he still showed up to empty stadium games.
I would love it. I mean, Kansas City's losing, Minnesota's losing, Houston's off, Boston, I think, lost. And you got a chance to make up a game here tonight. I mean, but they've got to start. I mean, they got to win tonight. It's got to start ASAP.
You know who what's another good way to explain the Mariners? They're that kid in school that procrastinates on their homework and their projects and waits to the last second.
We'll see if they get the project done.
Yeah, they certainly have procrastinated quite a bit. Do you think if the Mariners start winning and going a good stretch, still might have a chance to make the playoffs? Hey, anything's possible. I mean, it's still a month to go, so anything can change. The pitch, and that is a ball. Like, the Mariners had quite a deficit in 95 still. And the Mariners had quite a deficit in 96. I'll even check the stats and give you the idea. Now here's the pitch. Swing and a miss, strike one to Victor Robles. And Victor Robles seems to be moved up quite a bit. I actually liked him as a 9-hitter. He's actually a 400 hitter in that spot. So but I guess they just want him to score runs, like especially with the guys that get on base. But Polanco and Rosarena don't really do that. Now here's a ground ball right to third base, throw to first, and it's in time. So let's go to this point. At the point of September 3rd, 1995, the Mariners were 5.5 back from California, and as late as September 12th, when they played against Minnesota, they were as much as 6 games back from the division. So mathematically, they still have a very favorable chance as long as the other scenarios go in their favor. Now, here is Mitch Garver, and that is low for a ball.
I'm going to put in the call for a Garver home run.
What happened? If Garver hits a home run,
putting in the call.
I gotta come up with a losing bet for myself. The pitch. I gotta come up with something I'll reward you with. We'll figure it out.
He's got to throw him a strike first.
Actually, I have an idea. I will change the SeatGeek promo code in that banner that you see. And now here's the pitch. And that is low for a ball. Now, it has to be a home run on this very pitch. Not very pitch, but at bat. And if it does happen, I will do it throughout the entire game. And now we're looking at the 3-0. And now the pitch. And that is a strike to Mitch Garver. And that's going to be a 3-1 count. He does have a favorable count still, but he's got to figure it out. Going into the 96 season, when it was, as we are going to Look at the Mitch Garver pitch. And now the pitch. And that is ball 4. Take your base. And since we're playing Oakland, we got to play a clip of this.
Why do you like him?
Because he gets on base.
As Josh Rojas is up to the plate. And at the point of September 3rd, 1996, Mariners were 6 games back from the division, and they were at most 8 games back from the division. And now the pitch.
I mean, Kansas City lost Pasquantino. They're scuffling. I mean, it's not impossible. I can't hold out hope anymore. If it happens, great. I've become removed from it.
You're more apathetic.
There you go. Yep.
As we are looking at the 1-0, now here's the pitch and the fly ball foul. When I was at the Oakland game in 2022 for the first time with my cousin, man, what happened? I was like the only person like literally screaming and cheering. And as soon as the Mariners started winning, all the Oakland fans behind me started making fun of me. But the thing is, they were falling asleep throughout the entire game because it was a really boring game to watch. Like, the only score the Mariners had was Luis Torrens hitting a home run. And that was a Robbie Ray game. As we are looking at a 2-1 for Josh Rojas. And the pitch. Now here's a ground ball. Probably going to be a double play ball. Throw to second, throw to first. And that is in time. And that's going to be ended with a double play. And we're going to go to the bottom of the second. Mariners come up with nothing once again. And we go to the bottom of the second. Mariners are leading 2-1, but we know that this is not going to be enough.
No.
Not even close.
No, I think Oakland's offense pretty legit. Like, Lawrence Butler's been, I think he's got an OPS over 1,000 since the All-Star break. Brent Rooker's good. Bleday's had a good season. Langoliers is a good hitter. I don't know the bottom of their lineup. I know the names, but I don't know necessarily the numbers at the bottom of the lineup. But it's a decent lineup. Like, it can beat you. And I'm with you. I don't think 2 runs is going to hold up.
If Oakland at least had the Mariners starting rotation, that could be a playoff team.
Yeah, their WRC plus is way better than the Mariners. I think. I'm assuming.
Oh, looks like Dodgers are visiting the Angels, so I wonder if Shohei Ohtani either got his standing ovation or if he got the boos.
I would think ovation.
Okay.
I would think.
I would think ovation.
Yeah.
Because it was really Artie Moreno that fumbled the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
And did Houston even play today? I don't even know if Houston played.
No. That's a random day off.
Yeah. They're playing at Cincinnati. So I don't know. Hey. Yes, you missed Gino. Who is the best catching prospect Mariners have? Harry Ford. Yup, it is Harry Ford. And I think with the ways things are going with Cal Raleigh, I would think that they're going to hold on to Harry Ford going into the next season in case something goes wrong with Cal Raleigh. Because he is a Scott Boras client, so who knows if. But the thing is, if Cal Raleigh can't perform up to the standards, then he may not even get that contract anyway.
Yeah, and it's tough because Cal does have a lot of swing and miss, so sometimes those guys don't age as well. But also, Cal's also one of the few people on this team actually performing. So it's so hard with this team.
And the pitch, and that is popped up from Zach Geloff, and Raley is there, and he makes the catch, and there was some kind of a little bit of a miscommunication there. They're like, who's got the ball? A little bit concerning there. And Kevin Kirby says, I would have sent Garber down to AAA for months, called up Ford, couldn't be any worse. I don't care about contact.
I don't think,
but I don't know if options. But I don't think Garver would have been allowed. I don't think Garver would allow that to happen. I think he has the upper hand. He's like, no, you ain't sending me.
Yeah, I don't think he has any options.
The pitch. And that is a strike. Let's say if good ownership took over right now, for whatever reason, I think they would give Garver the Bobby Bonilla. Now here's a ground ball right to Polanco, throw to first in time. But I do think if an ownership really did take over, they would have been willing to eat the Mitch Garver contract. So he'd
There's
be.
only 1 year left, so it's not even. You could probably get something for him in a trade, honestly, with 1 year, and that he can catch a little bit. It gives him a little value, and he probably is a somewhat decent bounce back candidate for next year. I just don't know if the Mariners are. Who knows what we're going to be doing this offseason? It's so hard to tell.
I don't even want to know because I just want to focus on. I know I'm delusional, but I want to focus and see if the Mariners can if they can still salvage this stretch, which they still can. But I don't know. That Angels series gave me a huge bad taste in my mouth. But the weird thing is when they play an actual good, formidable team, they step up. But when they play like these tankers, opposite of last year, they had problems against those teams. And now here's the 1-1. Now here's a ground ball or line drive, and that is a foul ball. That nearly hit the grounds crew or whoever that was, a security guard that nearly hit him. It's a pretty depressing state to see where Oakland is at. Like, they lost the Warriors, they lost the Raiders. Now they're about to lose the A's. Now what does Oakland have left? Now there's nothing to do in Oakland except.
Wait, the Warriors are. Oh, they went to San Francisco. That's right.
Yeah, and we got a strike 3, and that was a really quick 1-2-3. That I felt like I blinked my eye on that one, and that was a quick 1-2-3. And Trident Scott Service is giving you a final inning, so you got to make it count.
Let's get some runs. Let's make it a long one. Let's put the arm to use. I got one more left in me. Let's put up a 5 spot here.
Let's make it happen. Oh, man. And also, yes, talked to Jeff Facero today. Yes, I did do a recorded show with him. I got to edit the video out because I didn't want to do it live this time. But it is a video of him talking about mostly Dan Wilson.
What's up?
Your son?
Yeah, no, we're good.
Hey, you need some of those moments.
Right.
One time I saw
special guest.
I was doing a show with I once did a show with Jake, and one time his little daughter just popped up out of nowhere, and it was kind of adorable. Hey, and this is a disclaimer: I am no ways of saying it in that kind of way. I'm just stating a fact.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Maybe I triggered.
Yeah, we're all real people with real lives, so things happen. It's
yeah. I mean, I had my dog come in. Like, you couldn't see the dog, but you could probably hear them. But they come into my room randomly,
and that's what it was. Because it's right out the window here. You can hear the dogs going nuts at the neighbors and stuff. So,
do you think we have a better chance of getting Bregman or Alonso or Soto? I would say Bregman's probably the most realistic out of all of them.
Yeah, agreed.
But Bregman may be up there in age, so that's the other thing you got to consider.
And right-handed hitter in T-Mobile makes it a little tough.
I mean, Nelson Cruz, he made it work.
Yeah. I would be against Bregman, actually, kind of just fill that third base role. That's been a bit of
basically fill a Suarez role, which they need.
Yeah.
And now here's the pitch to Crawford. And that is outside for a ball. I mean, Houston has been willing to let these guys go before. They let go of Correa. And George Springer.
Yep. Can we take Jordan?
The pitch. And that is a strike. Well, maybe if the Mariners did not trade away Eric Bedard to Boston, then that doesn't happen, maybe.
Yeah. That's
now the pitch. My first viral video that I ever made. And we're looking at the 1-2 for JP Crawford. As he's on a 1-2 in the pitch. And that is up high for a ball. And maybe you see that maybe JP is being a little bit more patient. He is on a 2-2. Maybe with under Scott, he would have struck out by now. And now the pitch. And now here's a fly ball to not so deep right field. And he makes the catch, and that's going to be 1 out. Kevin Kirby says, it's funny when fans get mad teams moves from Oakland to San Francisco would be like Mariners moving to Tacoma. Yeah, I know. I hear what you mean, but don't say that to an Oakland person.
Yeah, Oakland and San Francisco just kind of have this rivalry. I agree logistically. It's like you could still go see the team. At least with the Warriors, they were always the Golden State Warriors. They didn't have that Oakland name. So technically, yeah, that one I don't think was as big of a deal.
Unless if you're born in like 2020 and beyond, then you're probably going to be a Giants fan then. I can see. But if you're like born in 92 or like 2000 or back then yeah, it'll hurt. And we're looking at the 1-0. Now here's a line drive, and that's a foul ball.
See if Julio can get into one here. Swinging the bat better.
Swinging the bat better, much more patient at the plate. The only positive thing to take away from JP Crawford is at least he's aggressive and not afraid to swing.
I think JP's pitch selection, outside of that one pitch in LA, we were DMing about that one where he swung. You remember that one? It was like bounced 10 feet in front of the plate that he swung
I
at.
would love to forget it, man. Yeah, that was just bizarre.
Yeah, JP's pitch selection's been okay. It's just he's not doing damage on pitches in the zone. You know, that's the thing. You can be patient, work your walks, but eventually you got to crush mistakes too.
Which is why, I mean, if he's not able to crush those mistakes, his job is not going to be safe going into next spring training. He's going to be dealing with Cole Young going into the next spring training. And that's something I wanted to see happen is, why not give Cole Young a shot? Like, at least got nothing to lose at this point. And now we're looking at the 1-2. And now the pitch. And check swing. He did not go, but man, just a few months ago, he definitely would have swung at that one. And we'd have been like, Julio, what are you doing? As we were looking at a 2-2, Mariners offense has 154 home runs this season. They live and die by the home runs usually. And now the 2-2. And now here's a fly ball to deep right field. Not so deep. And once again, he makes the catch. It's been an easy
flyouts to Butler.
Yeah, Butler. First move should be getting rid of Dipoto. We agree, but we just have a gut feeling that Stanton's going to give this one more shot. And you do make a good point that maybe the Mariners don't want to deal with the fact that they'll have to replace Dan Wilson after they kind of promised him, like, well, you're going to be the permanent manager. So you can't. So they kind of dug themselves into a hole. But maybe that was the only way they could bring Dan Wilson in to begin with.
Yeah, it's going to be really curious what the moves are. But I'm with you. I think they're going to say, hey, we're going to go with Dan and Jerry and see what they can do. That's my gut feel.
Then I got to make that video quick because whenever he gets the extension, I'm going to put out a video saying Jerry Dipoto's worst trades. As we're looking at the 0-1, and that's a foul ball. And Cal Raleigh's actually been a huge contributor to this series so far. Hit the home run yesterday and then got a base hit. And I had small thoughts of covering the game, but I just wasn't feeling it. I was actually at work, and I was like, nah.
It's tough. It's, even my recaps, I'm getting some writer's block on it.
Yeah, writer's block. I was having writer's block for all my nostalgia content.
Yeah.
That's how much mentally damaging the Mariners are. They make me forget things.
Oh, but we're still here. We are gluttons for punishment.
We are. And now we're looking at the 1-2 and the pitch and the foul ball. People need to rant when the season's over. This is the same guy who said the goal was to win just 54% of our games. We're not even doing that. That's unacceptable. And you know what, Reese Beast? I'm going to say it. The best fans that we usually deal with are the ones that are actually negative. The negative fans are actually the true fans because they're at least paying attention to 1-2. And now here's a fly ball, maybe a blooper, and that's going to drop in for a base hit. I wonder if they're going to call that an error actually because Cal Raleigh got on and that should have been caught.
I think they'll give it a hit. Tough play going back there. I don't know, but yeah, he kind of lets it fall off his glove. The ultimate irony of this season is if they were at 54%, I think they'd be in the playoffs right now. The ultimate like final turd to drop on the Mariners.
Actually, the bigger irony was they win 54% of their games and they miss the playoffs.
No, well, I mean, that's, yeah.
There'll be a lot of jokes on that.
Yeah.
And now here is Randy Arozarena and the pitch. Randy Arozarena really is a definition of feast or famine. And I can see why the Rays were willing to get rid of him. At first, we were thinking, man, why didn't nobody else pick up on him? Or how did the Mariners get away with it so cheap of a deal? And now you watch him, you're like, oh, I get it. The pitch. Which is why us YouTubers, to get a better understanding of the Mariners, you got to watch the games. Can't just look at box scores or watch even highlights doesn't even do it. Like, we have to actually watch the games. That's why your videos do so well, because you're actually watching the games. And the pitch, and a swing and a miss, strike 3, and that's going to retire the side. And Arozarena having a little chatter with the umpire. Don't know why.
Some interesting swings there. Some not very encouraging.
This game is so bad that I just want to share my fantasy football team. And by the way, on Sunday, I went to an Asian buffet with a few of my friends that are also in the league. So we've not only feasted ourselves, we were also on our phones drafting. And like each time we were done picking, we went out to get more food or dessert. And one of my friends threw up.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's
too much. Sick, drink. What was it?
He had like some kind of Mongolian mix, and me and my friend were like, dude, that's like your third or fourth plate. You should just go to dessert. After my second plate, I went straight to dessert. I deserted the entire time after that. Lots of cookies and a lot of stuff. Asian buffets are good, but man, the smell is so strong. I had to throw my shirt in the laundry because of it. My fantasy football team. My quarterback is CJ Stroud. I have a guy named Cook, James Cook on the Bills. I have White on the Raiders. Marvin Harrison Jr. Amon St. Brown was my first round pick. I have a Texans tight end, Jackson Smith and Jigba. Chargers defense against the Raiders, because Jim Harbaugh, I think, can turn it around. I have the Chargers kicker. Then I have Jerome Ford, Jared Goff, David Njoku, Jordan Palmer. I think Brian Robinson is his name. And something named Worthy, maybe a Pat Mahomes secret weapon. And Pittsburgh's defense.
Not bad.
And
Not bad. Pittsburgh's always solid defensively.
And Reese Beast, you would think so that
should.
Seahawks should be able to win that game, especially against a rookie quarterback. But I wouldn't necessarily underestimate the Bo Nix in the pitch, because usually when it's a man of... You were saying?
The thing with Bo Nix is, he's got a lot of experience. So he's played 5 years, doesn't get sacked a lot, gets rid of the ball pretty quickly. I think it's going to be a lot of dink and dunk in the Sean Payton offense. It'll be interesting to see what Mike McDonald has cooked up. I think it's a tough matchup for Denver. I think Seattle should definitely win for sure. I think they're the better team, but I think Nix is going to be a little bit more experienced than the normal rookies.
I wonder who's the start. Did they pick the starter yet for the Seahawks yet? Is it Geno? I would think it's going to be Geno.
Yeah, it's Geno.
I don't think they're going to just jump the gun for Sam Howell.
No.
And the pitch to Butler, and that is outside for a ball. The weird thing is about this season, like, I'm looking forward to the season, but for some reason, I don't even care how the Seahawks do. For whatever weird reason, I just don't even really have much of an emotional investment in the pitch. That's a foul ball. Honestly, I just want to see how many games I can cover live than seeing how much the Seahawks win.
Yeah, it's a kind of a transition year too, so it makes it a little bit, you know what I mean? It's just a little different. So it's a little different vibe, I think, for the Hawks.
Yeah, because we're going into it with, like, we have no idea what's going on, as that is a foul ball, and Lawrence Butler is working on 2 strikes. JT Chargois is being shown on the camera with the ball boy. And the 1-2. And that is a foul ball. We're looking at the 1 and 2 for Lawrence Butler. Had a really good season. And the pitch. And that was a ball. Maybe it should have been a strike because it was in the strike zone. I mean, we can remember that Angels game. That umpire had the weirdest strike zone I saw. And I said I said CB Buckner's strike zone was weird.
Fletcher.
And now the 2-2. And that is ball 3. And anyone who cares about how the Everett Aqua Sox did, they won on the 10th inning. And we're looking at the 3-2 for Lawrence Butler. And also, if any of you Mariner fans are depressed, go to an Everett game. Go to a minor league game. Go to Tacoma. 3-2. Foul ball. And still the full count 3-2. Castillo's at a 96-mile-an-hour fastball on 37 pitches. With the exception of the Lawrence Butler home run, Castillo's kind of held up. As we're looking
Butler
at the 3-2.
Here too.
The pitch. And fouled again, and Lawrence Butler is really giving him a fight. And also noticeably, I would usually may have like 10 plus viewers on this show, but I guess due to the Mariners' futility, I guess people are not they don't feel as incentivized to follow a game. And the 3-2. And fouled again. Like, can you imagine a live show where it's after the Mariners missed the playoffs, like after that final news? And imagine what the views are going to be on that. It's going to be like maybe 2 people.
Yeah, I think late night game in Oakland doesn't exactly inspire a lot of people. Are getting closer to football season. People are getting in that mindset.
And it's all the Mariners' fault. You just couldn't do it. At least the 2001 Mariners, they were able to distract us from the Mike Holmgren Seahawks with new quarterback Matt Hasselbeck. Sean Alexander was on the rise, and Mariners figured out how to distract.
That's because you're the man.
3-2. And now here is a ground ball right to Polanco. Good play. Throw to first in time, and that's going to be 2 outs. Now, Kevin Kirby, I didn't see that video.
I did not.
And either. William, thank you. One of my beloved members is on this chat. And also, you guys did see maybe that I did make videos on my fantasy football team, but due to the fact that I guess it didn't make sense view-wise to put a fantasy football recap of my own team, because I don't think an average Joe's going to care how my fantasy football team does when they want to know what's going on with the Mariners and Seahawks. Those recap games are actually going to be on my membership part of the channel. So if you want to get my fantasy football rantings, join it for $5 a month. And now the pitch. And a swing and a miss. Why are we losing to the Angels? I guess it's a combination of the Mariners downplaying, and also maybe they were caught off guard without realizing that Angels actually do have some decent young players. And if you put Mike Trout in there and they're healthy, maybe they can make one last run with Trout, but the problem is he's always hurt.
Right.
Did Seahawks sign Tony? Trying to
Kadarius Toney was in for a visit. I don't think they signed him yet. I think he was just in for a tryout or something, but I don't think there's any news that they signed him or not.
2-1 to Brent Rooker, and that's a foul ball. WRC Plus this season is 180 versus lefties and 164 against righties, and this was one of the players that the Mariner fans did want, was to get Brent Rooker, but we knew how much the Oakland A's were going to ask. They were going to ask for a ransom, and now the 2-2 pitch. And now here's a fly ball to center field, and that should do it for this inning, as actually Robles is there, and he makes the catch, and that will retire the side, and wish I can give you anything to stay for the remainder of the show, because maybe this is what's keeping the Mariners in the game, is your presence.
They go down 5-2. No, appreciate you having me on as always. We'll definitely do a few more before this season ends. You know, maybe I wanted to do the last game. That's going to be on a Sunday. That's going to be tough. Maybe the penultimate game, the Saturday one. And Kevin, to answer your question, just quick before I get out, for hockey, I'm just going to watch hockey and enjoy it for what it is. I just can't do it with the Kraken. I root for the Kraken anyways, as like they were my second team kind of, but without the Yotes, I'm just kind of
casual.
Done with it. What's that?
Hockey just feels more of a casual thing to follow.
Yeah, it was always kind of my third behind foot. It was never quite as emotional as, football and baseball for me, but I was thinking about the Ducks just because that's the team I'm closest to, so I could go to a few games, but I'm probably just going to enjoy hockey for what it
Yeah.
is and go from there. So appreciate everybody in here, Rooftop. Always appreciate you having me on, my friend. Hopefully bring home that dub.
We need that win.
Later, man.
Later. Well, thank you very much, Jay Trident Podcast, for being on the show. And now I'm trying to see if anyone else would like to join. I got maybe Ian that's probably could join. He's been in my shows quite a bit. So hopefully the Mariners can figure out a way to get out of this, with a victory, and also win the series against Oakland. And to win that series, they're going to have to win all three of them. And now here is Luke Raley up to the plate, and that is going to be a ball. Again, at 87 miles an hour, 57 pitches in so far. And now here is the pitch. And now here's a ground ball right to second base, throw to first, and it's in time to get Luke Raley out of there. And now we got one down. Mariners are really hanging on to that one run lead, and they got to find a way to figure this out, or else it will be trouble, because you do not want to go into this losing, especially when the rest of the league pretty much lost, especially the wild card chasers. Now the pitch, and that is going to be up high for a ball. As Jorge Polanco is working on a 1-0 count right now. And now here's the pitch. And that is going to be popped up, going into second base. Ginn's going to make the catch, and that is going to be 2 down already. So fast. At this point, I would have paid for him too. Just like I wanted them to pay for Vlad Guerrero Jr., because if the Mariners are so good about their farm system, they could have just made up for it years later, especially when Mariners really should be in win now mode. So I would have been willing to give up a few years of the farm system just for a chance to win a World Series. Mariners have a chance to be 4 games back from the wild card if they can hang on today. As much as I love Moneyball, the movie still bothers me that the movie is all about A's preventing us from making the playoffs. And not only that, I think it ruined some parts of baseball because of too much over-reliance of the analytics thing, which was a good idea, nice idea, but it can't work all the time in practice, personally. It was a great crafted movie, but there were some inaccuracies of that movie. Like the whole Peter Brand character never happened. That Peter Brand was actually Paul De Podesta, who was with the team since 1999. And now here's the 0-2. And that's going to be up. Oh, that's strike 3 called. And that is going to retire the side. And that is going to go into the bottom of the 4th. And the Mariners are still leading it 2-1 in a very close one. And now here is, gotta go to the bathroom. SeatGeek is a mobile ticketing app for sporting events, concerts, and other events. They make the buying experience easier by the app ranking each ticket from 0 to 10 to see if you are getting a good deal. And you can see exactly where you are sitting. I regularly use that app, and I have had nothing but a fantastic experience with SeatGeek. Use my promo code RoofTopSports to get $20 off of your first purchase. Link to the code, app, and website will be in the description, so take advantage, and thank you. And use that promo code RoofTopSports for your $20 off. And now here's a fly ball to shallow, and JP is there. He makes the catch, and that's going to be one down. As we are back from the break, Mariners are still leading 2-1, and this game has really been breezing along for Luis Castillo. And now we're looking at the pitch, and now here it is. And that is a strike. As we are looking at the 0-1, and now the pitch. And that is a foul ball. Brock Heward mentions on Twitter that Cal Raleigh has 84 RBIs. Julio is second with 47. How is that even possible? I don't even want to know. As we got a play possible for Luke. Raley makes the catch. And that's going to be 2 down. Look at all those Cracker Jacks. Now here's the next pitch. And that's popped up. And nothing doing. I don't necessarily like the idea of Garver playing catcher and Cal Raleigh being the DH, because if he gets hurt, if Garver gets hurt, then Cal Raleigh has to be a catcher. And then a pitcher has to hit. And now here is a fly ball to deep left center field, and that is going to be gone. A home run for Seth Brown. And now the game is tied at 2-2 off a home run by Seth Brown. And pretty much at a blink of an eye, that now the game is tied. And you knew that this wasn't going to be a sustainable lead for the Mariners, and just so quickly that everything just changed. That's the problem with Luis Castillo, is he is very home run prone. Castillo had retired 11 in a row. Castillo has allowed 25 home runs this season, 18 against lefties. Now the pitch, swing and a miss, and that is going to be a strike. We're looking at the 0-2 for Zach Geloff. And the pitch, swing and a miss, and that is strike 3. That's going to retire the side, but the Mariners do suffer a home run by Seth Brown, and now this ball game is tied. SoFi is an online bank and a personal financing company offering financial diverse products. They hold the naming rights to the home of the Los Angeles Rams and the Los Angeles Chargers, named SoFi Stadium. They offer amazing checking and savings accounts where you can get up to 4.6% on savings accounts. There are no monthly fees to maintain the accounts, and they have over 55,000 no-fee ATMs around the United States. You even have access to a budgeting program, stock trading, and insurance programs. Join SoFi and get $25 for joining and or $25 for opening a stock trading account. Links are available in the description. And thank you. And lastly, I am not a financial advisor, so either find a professional financial advisor or go with your own gut. Yep, and use that promo code RoofTopSports, and the website will be available in the description of this video. It's really disappointing to see Mariners being tied. We got an Astros fan here. We got Josh. And Josh, I must say that you guys had a pretty random day to have a day off for your Houston Astros. And Josh, do you think that Alex Bregman will sign an extension, or do you think he is gone? I do agree. He needs to make an attempt, which he doesn't do, it seems. You are correct about that. His efforts are pretty lackluster. You finally got back from class, huh? And we are back from the break. Bregman, you are on the fence, aren't you? Grad school. What are you studying? And that is a foul ball for Mitch Garver. He's got to come up with a big hit because Mariners cannot. And we all knew that this 2-0 lead, at least at the time, was not going to be sustainable. As we were looking at the 0-1. And now we're looking at the 0-1 and the pitch. And Josh, what kind of job are you going to get out of that? As we're looking at the 1-1 so far for Mitch Garver. And now here's the pitch. And that's going to be low for a ball. Are they good jobs, though? I hope he didn't take out too much student loans for that. Garver's looking at a 2-1. He's batting 164. It's just absolutely pitiful. Now the 2-1 pitch. And a ground ball foul again. 2-2. Garver did get on base last inning, but the Mariners have got to do more. Around the league, Dodgers are winning 2-1 if you care about that against the Angels. Now the 2-2 pitch. And that is strike 3 called and nothing doing, and that is going to be 1 out. This is his second big league start, and he already has 6 strikeouts versus Castillo 3, which is good for my fantasy baseball team, by the way. And this game has really been cruising along really fast. As here is Josh Rojas up to the plate. And the pitch. And a swing and a miss, and that is going to be strike 1. I'm currently losing to the other team 6-3-2 on my fantasy baseball team. As we are looking at the 0-1 and the pitch. And that is going to be low for a ball, 1-1. The strikeouts are helping because, boy, this is really bad. As we are looking at the 1-1. And now here's the pitch. And now here is a line drive. Oh, that gets right on by, and that's going to be probably an error for Josh Rojas. I think they're counting that as a hit. So now you got a base runner, and I got one out. Yeah, and they pay good, and I only need to do 2 years of grad school. Okay, that's good. Because if you just did one of those, if you did just one of those really crappy majors like something studies or I don't know, art history, no offense, or like, I don't know. I don't want to know, but wouldn't have been worth it. And now here's JP Crawford up to the plate. Now the pitch. And that is a foul ball. And we're looking at the 0-1 so far for JP Crawford. And now the pitch. Up high for a ball, and that's going to be a 1-1 count. One. Low for a ball. And that was a check swing, but didn't go through. They're talking about 3 years in Sacramento. 2-1. Check swing, and he did go, and that's going to be strike 2. Two. Now here's a ground ball. It's going to be a double play ball. Throw to second, throw to first. And that is in time for the double play. And that will end this inning. And we're going into bottom of the 5th. Still 2-2 tie. Are you looking to optimize your office, studio, or man cave? The Glance LED ticker may be for you. It is a customizable LED display providing real-life sports scores, stock prices, crypto, the news, and even the weather. Use my promo code RoofTopSports to get 10% off the purchase, and thank you. You think they are more likely to keep Framber, Tucker, than Bregman? That's fair. He wants a ton of money as he is a Boris client. Unlike Altuve, he is likely to sign for a super team friendly deal, even though he is also a Boris client. Also for Bregman, Astros kind of prepared for him leaving originally. It was going to be Will Wagner, but we traded him for Yusei. Oh, wow. They did give up quite a bit for Yusei Kikuchi. And Kikuchi's been pitching very well in Houston. He was also a former Mariner. And if you really think about it, with the way the free agency went, when Yusei Kikuchi went to the Toronto Blue Jays and Robbie Ray went to the Mariners, the Mariners basically traded Yusei Kikuchi for Robbie Ray. But unfortunately, now Robbie Ray has turned into just Mitch Haniger. Key starts. Mariners all-time leaders in Oakland. Felix with 13 wins. Eric Hansen has the best ERA. Diaz with 10 saves. Randy Johnson has an opponent batting average of 172. So quite a bit of history in Oakland since the Mariners started. Ken Griffey Jr. also hit his 40th home run in August in Oakland in 1994. And now the pitch. And that is going to be a ball outside. And that is a 1-0 count. And now here's the 1-0. And that is inside for a ball. And that's going to be a 2-0 count. Tristan Gray is 0 for 4. Now here's the pitch. Up high for a ball, 3-0. And now here's the 3-0. And that is ball 4 on 4 straight pitches. And that's going to be a walk for Tristan Gray. And now we got a runner on first base. Hopefully a double play opportunity is to happen. Now next up to the plate is going to be Shillman. And now the pitch. He's looking for a bunt attempt, and that's going to be pulling away for a ball. As we're looking at the 1-0 and the pitch. That is inside for a ball. 2-0. Looking at a 2-0 count so far. He's really taking his time. Feels like it's longer than the 15 seconds. As we're looking at the 2-0 and the pitch. Now here's a fly ball belted to deep right center field, and Robles is leaping there, and he makes the catch. What a catch by Victor Robles, and the runner tagging back to first. That is a double play. What a catch by Victor Robles. He thought, or the A's thought that they were not going to, the A's thought they were going to get some runs out of that. But instead, Victor Robles makes an amazing leaping catch to make it a double play. Nice catch. He had to make a leap for that one. And it was a throwback to first for a double play. Now the pitch. Inside, and that nearly got him, and that is going to be ball 1. That was a much-needed play for the Mariners. The pitch. Ground ball foul. As we are looking at the 1-1, and now the pitch. Foul ball, and that's going to be strike 2. As we are looking at the 1-2 so far. And now here's the pitch. Low for a ball, 2-2. And the pitch. Swing and a miss, and that is fouled off the toes. Now we're looking at a 2-2. Castillo at 67 pitches. And the 2-2. Fouled again off of his toes, off of his foot. And we'll try this again. Did you know that the Astros and the A's are the only AL teams that have a winning record in Oakland? Did not know that. Guess the Mariners have a below 500 record in Oakland. Game was really putting me to sleep. And now the 2-2. Fouled again, and that's going to be still 2-2. As we are looking at the 2-2 and the pitch. Here's ground ball fouled again. I figured that it was, Josh. Jacob Wilson, another 2-2. Now here is a ground ball right to Crawford, the throw to first. And that is in time, and that will retire the side. We are going into, I believe, the top of the 6th inning. Still a 2-2 ball game. Guess I better play this. So I have a clip of myself playing All-Star Baseball 2000 between the Mariners and the Oakland A's, but here, check it out.
Forkball. Caught him looking. Coming up, Jason Giambi. Swing and a miss. Down he goes.
Yep, that was Jeff Facero making that pitch. Baltimore is the only team that was close to 500, but there was not enough games for them to get back into it. Yeah, unfortunately, now that Oakland is pretty much a goner, it's pretty sad that Oakland is going to be facing the fate of no more baseball team. Who do you think is the better defender, Robles or Julio? Julio, if he's on his game. Julio should be the better defender, but he really hasn't been. He's not even making those attempts to rob the home runs, unfortunately. Random news, but it looks like in Seattle, 20 elementary schools are closing. Wow. Didn't think that 20 schools would be cut. It's the reality of Seattle. I'm sure Oakland doesn't really have a favorable situation either. Which, by the way, check out my back. The old Oakland Coliseum before the Raiders do-over. Now the pitch to Julio. Outside for a ball. And arguably, they're saying that Mount Davis is partially the reason why this stadium has turned into a disaster. As we are looking at a 260 batting average from Julio Rodriguez, 13 home runs, 47 RBIs. Now the pitch. Outside for a ball. And if only we could see Julio Rodriguez going on a hot streak, could totally make a difference. Harris is now in the bullpen as Ginn is up to almost 80 pitches right now. And now we're looking at the 2-0. And here is the pitch. And a swing and a miss, strike one. Two and one for Julio Rodriguez. And now here's the pitch. Ground ball foul. Oakland, the first city to have and then lose. They had an NHL team, an NFL team, NBA, MLB. Sheesh. Oakland has lost pretty much everything. And now it's a city of nothingness. The only thing they got is a little Pioneer baseball team. The pitch. Now here's a fly ball to right field. Going back. Makes the catch, and that's going to be one down. Mariners cannot play for a tie, obviously, because you play for a tie, you end up losing in the extras. Now we're looking at not Luke Raley, Cal Raleigh up to the plate. Let's see if he can make something happen with one out so far, as he is the best hitter on the team, which is pretty sad. Now the pitch. And that is inside for a ball. As we got a 1-0 count so far. Now the 1-0. It's a liner and fouled. Cal Raleigh has doubled and singled. So if you get a home run and a triple, that'll be a cycle. As we're looking at the 1-1. And now the pitch. Now here is a ground ball. That is a nice stop and the throw to first. In time, and that is going to be 2 outs. Just don't like where this is going. Now I got Randy Arozarena up to the plate. Now here's Randy Arozarena. And that's going to be a strike right up the middle. Jeez, this is just not good. Arozarena has 2 strikeouts. I'd pull him out of this game. Let someone else play. Now here's the 1-0-1. And that is going to be low for a ball. 1-1 for Randy Arozarena. One and one. Ground ball fouled, and now you would think that he's probably going to strike out. You can't wait for the next World Baseball Classic games. Will be in Houston, huh? I think World Baseball Classic won't be until 2027. Now we're looking at the 1-2. And here is the pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3, and down he goes. And Ginn has absolutely been on fire. He's been helping my fantasy baseball team quite a bit. He has amassed 7 strikeouts. SeatGeek is a mobile ticketing app for sporting events, concerts, and other events. They make the buying experience easier by the app ranking each ticket from 0 to 10 to see if you are getting a good deal, and you can see exactly where you are sitting. I regularly use that app, and I have had nothing but a fantastic experience with SeatGeek. Use my promo code RoofTopSports to get $20 off of your first purchase. Link to the code, app, and website will be in the description, so take advantage, and thank you. 2029, it returns to the quadriennial staging post-COVID, huh? Just watching this game has been really painful. Oh. And we are back from the break. That is outside for a ball. Game is tied at 2-2. And now the 1-0. And that's going to be a ball. Don't forget the World Cup as well. As we were looking at the 2-0. And that is going to be popped up to left field. Rosarena is going to be there. And he makes the catch. That's going to be 1 down. Brent Rooker with 33 home runs, and boy, the Mariners could use that production. Now the pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 1. And now we're looking at the 0-1, and the pitch. Popped up and fouled. And also, if you haven't done so, hit the like button, subscribe, hit that notification. And also donate to this channel. There's 3 different ways. There's PayPal, Venmo, that you see on the front ticker over there, bottom ticker, as that is going to be strike 3. Brent Rooker strikes out. Also, the YouTube Super Chat. So donate like either $1 or as many dollars as you want to help support this channel, as we got 2 out so far. Or join my membership for $5 a month if you want to get some exclusive content coverage of my fantasy football season. And now here is the pitch. And that is a strike. This is J.J. Bleday. He is 0 for 2 with a pop out and a fly out. Now the 0-1. Swing and a miss, strike 2, and already a quick strike for J.J. Bleday, but you would assume that this is probably going to be the final inning for Luis Castillo. I would expect it to be very much. As we are looking at the 0-2. And now here is the pitch. And now here's a fly ball to center field. Julio is there. He makes the catch, and that is going to retire the side. So, Rooftop, this is a question about stadiums. How would you pick the Mariners Stadium? A, stay with current venue T-Mobile Park, go back to the Kingdome, or make a venue to make it more hitter-friendly? Oh, man, it's tough. For the intimacy, Kingdome, because it was a very loud stadium, very exciting place to play or to watch a game. But I'm still going to stay with T-Mobile, and I think even if you make it more hitters-friendly, I don't think it's going to matter. I don't think the T-Mobile thing is to blame for the Mariners' futility for the offense. I think it's just that personnel is just really bad, and coaching has just been really bad until Dan Wilson and Edgar Martinez took over. But, man, you would like to see Dan Wilson stay above 500. So I'm going to still stay with T-Mobile Park. It's a beautiful stadium anyway. Kingdom was really fun, too. I remember when I was a kid. The Chicago White Sox are now 31-109. Yeah, they are, and they could very much beat the record. I think the record low is the New York Mets of 1962, coached by Casey Stengel. Why doesn't the T-Mobile Park issue apply as much as to our opponents? That's the idea. If you're a good ball player, it does not matter about the T-Mobile problems. Like, well, let me go to the 1999 Mariners and see how these guys did. Now here's Luke Raley up to the plate, and that is a foul ball. Second half, Griffey did struggle. He batted .256 with 19 home runs, 360 OBP, but still pretty good. And now the pitch. And that is up high for a ball, 1-1. Now the pitch. Up high for a ball. Griffey actually played better at home, too. So it's not like T-Mobile Park was the reason it failed. The pitch. 2-2. Now here's an interesting what if. What if the city of Seattle trying to get their first MLB team instead of using Sick's Stadium? They could instead buy the Colts Stadium from the Astros. I don't know. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Never really give it much thought. And now we got one down. Was Colts Stadium before the Astrodome? Colts Stadium was used as a temporary venue for 1962. It's a $20 million stadium, at least in today's money. Astrodome was since. And Josh, do you have any memories going to an Astro game back when it was the Astrodome era and now the 01? And that's going to be a ball. The 1-1 check swing does not go. And now we're looking at the 2-1. And that is going to be a 3-1 count for Jorge Polanco. And the pitch. And that's inside for ball 4 as Jorge Polanco is going to walk. Oh, so you were too young for the whole Astrodome era. I was born in 92, so I got to know the Kingdom era pretty well. And now we got Victor Robles up to the plate. And flick of the switch, then welcome to the show. And the pitch as Victor Robles brings it down with a bunt and the throw to first. And that is in time, and that's going to be 2 down. Or, yeah, 2 down with a sacrifice bunt by Jorge Polanco, but got a runner on scoring position. And next up to the plate, it's going to be Mitch Garver. Wait, Mitch Garver is up? Yep, that sounds about right. And the pitch. And that's going to be a strike. You're not even seeing anything swinging out of Mitch Garver. Mariners Sir on Twitter says, crazy to think if the Mariners struggle before the deadline, we could somewhat see a rebuild again. If they did. Yeah, if they do struggle before the next deadline, guys like Raleigh, Randy, Rayleigh, Munoz, Gilbert, Castillo, Kirby could all be on the market. Woo! That'd be a terrifying scene. As we're looking at the 1-1 and the pitch. And that's going to be a strike 2. You are better off going to sleep. As we're looking at the 1-2, the pitch. And here's a fly ball popped up, and that's not going to get anything done. Blade makes the catch, and that's going to retire the side. We go into the bottom of the 7th inning. Time for stretch time. And take me out to the ball game. Take me out to the ball game. Take me out to the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jacks. I don't care if I ever get back, so let's root for the Mariners. If they don't win, it's a shame. It would be a shame because all the other wild card teams lost today. For it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball game. It's very painful. But let me show you a funny clip that, I don't know if it's funny, but this was going to be an intro, but I forgot to play it. And would anyone like to guess where that got that music from? Someone take a guess. So what if they say the city of Seattle purchased the stadium the pilots probably never leave? But that stadium was a dumpster fire to begin with. Ugh. Oh, Colt Stadium? Like, what do you mean, like, purchase? Like, are you talking about like transplanting from one stadium to the other? It doesn't work that way. And we are back from the break, and they're showing the skyline of Oakland, California. Maybe look beautiful there, but then once you go to a city, and let's just say don't go to a city in Oakland. Would not go to Oakland if I were you. I'm looking at the downtown parts of Oakland and not too particularly impressed. Castillo at 80 pitches, the pitch. And that is a foul ball. Still going into the 7th inning. As this ball game is tied. Trent Thornton's now warming up in the bullpen. And the pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 2 for Shea Langoliers. As we are looking at the 0-2 for Julio Rodriguez. Or, I'm sorry, Shea Langoliers. And the pitch. And that's going to be a ball. That's going to be a 1-2 count. And the 1-2. And now here's a line drive caught by Polanco. And now we got one out. And the 1-0. And here's a line drive, and that is going to be a base hit going into right field. And we got a man on first base. Jim Moore says, I've seen every season since 1977, and I think this is the worst one of all, including 500 losses. Wow. Jim Moore, man. The Cougar. And the pitch. And that's going to be low for a ball. It's been that kind of game. And now we're looking at the 1-0 pitch to Zach Geloff, and the pitch up high for a ball, and that is going to be a 2-1 count. 2-0 count, shall I say. Playoffs, I don't know. And the 2-0. And that is a strike. As we're looking at the 2-1. Boy, could this game be any more depressing to watch. It's just pain. watching absolutely no offense. And the 2-1. Now here's a ground ball foul. Playoffs? Don't talk about playoffs. Are you kidding me? Playoffs? I just hope they can win a game. Another game. Jason says, what's up, Rooftop? What starting pitcher are you willing to trade for a bat? Thinking of the future? I don't want to think of the future. I want to think about the Mariners can still salvage this season. If they win today, they'll be 4 games back from the wild card. But Luis Castillo, I think, should be the first to go. Get off of that bad contract now. As we're looking at the 2-2 and the pitch, it's going to be a 3-2. But yes, Jason, thank you for being part of this show. This game is just very depressing. This will probably be the final inning for Castillo, by the way. With the exception of the home runs, Castillo has pitched very well. As we are looking at a 3-2 count. And now the pitch. And that is going to be popped up. And Luke Raley should be there. And he makes the catch. And that is going to be 2 down. Got 8 viewers so far. At least 8 people are watching. So I'm pretty happy about that so far. Castillo or Gilbert, I wanted us to get the division. I like your hopefulness, but we are who we are. Unfortunately, you are correct. You could go for Snell in the offseason or Justin Verlander or Blake Snell. You know, those aren't, I would not be opposed to those options either. I mean, Mariners have got to open the checkbooks a lot more. And the pitch. And a swing and a miss, strike 1 for Tristan Gray. Just to think that the Mariners didn't really do any moves in that 2024 offseason, and it's really been hurting them. As we're looking at the 0-1, and now here's the pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 2. You really want to believe that the Mariners can make some kind of a run. But it's really tough to see. The 0-2. And that's going to be a 1-2 count. One and two. And that's going to be 2-2 the count. The pitch. Ground ball fouled again. It's going to be 2-2 still. Castillo may be reaching the end. And now here's the 2-2. And it's fouled again. Going to be close to pitch number 100 for Luis Castillo. And now the pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3, and that's going to retire the side. Mariners get out of the inning with a guy on base, and we're going to the top of the 8th inning. It is still tragically 2-2. John Pierce says, "Hey, man, I respect that you come on here and still do these. I couldn't watch the games anymore, but at least I can come on here and suffer with my people." Yeah, you know what? That was the goal of this channel. The goal of doing these live shows was to engage with the audience and give people a place to say whatever they want within reason. Just don't spam me with a link that says how to make $100,000 by taking a poo-poo in the toilet. Yeah, don't give me that. Or don't send me any kind of like pornography things or whatever. But yeah, I'm here. I'm here for you guys. I'm sticking it till the end because you just never know. And I know that I do have a reputation of being quite a negative fan, but hey, I'm still here at least paying attention and complaining about it. Josh says, I wish the Titans were like the Brewers, with the Mariners over the Pilots and allow the Texans to use Oilers uniforms. Yeah, I guess so. But I don't think you were around when you certainly weren't around when the Houston Oilers was a thing. Hey, if the Nationals won the World Series in 2019, the Mariners could still do it as well. It pains me to say that. Anything's possible. But you know what? Maybe let's take a look at that 2019 team. 2019 Nationals that won the World Series against the Astros. Let's see where they exactly where they were on September 3rd. On September 3rd, they were actually 6.5 games back from the division. I mean, it didn't matter, but they still had some kind of a deficit against them. The pitch, and now here is Dylan Moore up to the plate. And Dylan Moore is going to take over for Rojas, which is very unusual because Dylan Moore was actually playing really well. Not Dylan Moore, Josh Rojas played pretty well. And now the pitch, and that's going to be strike 2. And the 0-2, Dylan Moore goes down on 3 straight pitches, and that's going to be 1 out. As J.P. Crawford is now up to the plate. And now the pitch. And that is a strike. And the pitch again. And that's going to be popped up. Nothing going to be done. And the Mariners are on the verge of suffering another 1-2-3 inning. As this game, I'm telling you, it's painful to follow. And now the pitch. And that's going to be up high for a ball. And now the pitch again. And here's a ground ball right to third base. Julio's going to have to hustle to throw to first in time. He didn't really, I don't know if he really saw much of a hustle out of Julio Rodriguez. And that's going to retire the side once again. And now Troy Taylor is going to take over for Luis Castillo. And this game has been really frustrating to follow. SoFi is an online bank and a personal financing company offering financial diverse products. They hold the naming rights to the home of the Los Angeles Rams and the Los Angeles Chargers, named SoFi Stadium. They offer amazing checking and savings accounts where you can get up to 4.6% on savings accounts. There are no monthly fees to maintain the accounts, and they have over 55,000 no-fee ATMs around the United States. You even have access to a budgeting program, stock trading, and insurance programs. Join SoFi and get $25 for joining and or $25 for opening a stock trading account. Links are available in the description. And thank you. And lastly, I am not a financial advisor, so either find a professional financial advisor or go with your own gut. Chargers ain't going back to San Diego because they're already in a well-established stadium. The stadium was what killed San Diego. Don't forget, Dean Spanos didn't really help either. Which is why I was surprised that Jim Harbaugh took the job. I didn't think he would take the job in San Diego, considering the baggage that Dean Spanos has. Castillo pitched pretty well today with the exception of the 2 home runs given. Troy Taylor is now coming on the mound. Troy Taylor has actually been one of the solid pitchers in the bullpen. And now here's the pitch. And that's going to be a strike. And now the pitch. And that is low for a ball. Most of the games that Dan Wilson's been managed been very close games. So you got to give him that they still fight the pitch. And that is a foul ball, and Saucedo is getting loose in the bullpen. Mariners bullpen has been quite a mess this season. And now the pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Down he goes, and Troy Taylor has been quite an addition for this team. Now here's Jacob Wilson. And here is the pitch. And that is a pop-up to Luke Raley, and he makes the catch, and that's already now 2 outs. On September 3rd, 2019, going back to that Nationals team, in the wild card, they're actually leading the wild card by 3.5 games. And now the pitch. Jason asks, what 2 relief pitchers do I like the best? I like Brash, even though he's very erratic. And maybe Munoz, but these are all erratic guys. My favorite was Paul Sewald, but then they got rid of him. So I guess those 2 guys, but it's not saying much. I think it's too early for me to like Troy Taylor for now. And now the pitch. Swing and a miss, and that is going to be strike 2. And now the 1-2. And that's going to be low for a ball. Now the 2-2 pitch. Ground ball fouled. And now we're looking at the 2-2. And now the pitch. Popped up and fouled again. Now the 2-2 pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Down goes Troy Taylor. We go to the top of the 9th inning, and game is still tied 2-2. And let me see how many pitches it took for Troy Taylor to get him out. 12 pitches. I'd probably go with him for one more inning, to be honest with you. When people tell me the N64 and GameCube is retro, you feel old. I'm old. I'm 32 years old. Look at me. Are you looking to optimize your office, studio, or man cave? The Glance LED ticker may be for you. It is a customizable LED display providing real-life sports scores, stock prices, crypto, the news, and even the weather. Use my promo code RoofTopSports to get 10% off the purchase, and thank you. Using this fan because my old iPhone can do that. It's kind of cool. But next three are going to be on the bat are going to be... Let's see who's up. I forgot who's already up. I think it's Cal Raleigh. Cal Raleigh's going to be up to the plate. This has already been a crazy start to the college football season, hasn't it? I haven't really followed. Yeah, I miss Seawald, Jason. Getting rid of Seawald was a huge mistake. I really loved Paul Seawald. Padres, Rangers, and Yankees. Mariners better take advantage of that step. And at this rate, Mariners are going to have to basically sweep out. I don't even know if 2 out of 3. I mean, they definitely have to sweep the Padres for sure. And now here is Cal Raleigh up to the plate. And now here is a fly ball, and Butler makes the catch. And now here is a Rosarena. Nice big curveball by Harrison. That's going to be a strike. Mariners have got to find ways to win this game because you do not want to go up against the Mason Miller, the pitch. And that is a strike again. A Rosarena has 3 strikeouts. He really shouldn't be playing right now. Did the Mariners break the... did Jordan break the Mariners after the game 1? Some still say, yeah. It was a bad decision because Scott Service put in Robbie Ray. I'm still not over that. I will never get over that. Anyone who tells me to go get over it is absolutely insane. And we're looking at the 1-2 so far in the pitch. And a swing and a miss, or actually the foul ball. And we're looking at a 1-2 for Randy Arozarena. Batting .216 with 18 home runs and 47 RBIs. As we were looking at the 1-2. Now here is the pitch. Ground ball fouled again. As we're looking at the 1-2. Harris at 28 pitches the pitch. Low for a ball, and that's going to be 2-2 for Randy Arozarena. Mariners broke themselves. What really broke them was them not responding. They didn't make any good moves in 2023. 2-2. Low for a ball, 3-2. And also, they broke themselves in the 2024 offseason when they traded away Eugenio Suarez and Jared Kelnick. And now the 3-2 pitch. Ball 4, take your base. And now you got a man on first base. Rosarena should probably think about stealing second if you can. And now Justin Turner is going to be the pinch hitter because of the matchup, which I don't really agree with. But Luke Raley hasn't really done much either. So I still think maybe this is the correct move. Thornton and Snyder in the bullpen. Looks like they're all ready to go, but I'd still go with Troy Taylor. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Now here is Justin Turner up to the plate. Hit 2 home runs against the Angels the other game. And that's going to be in there for a strike. As we're looking at an 0-1 count for Justin Turner. And here is the pitch. And that is a strike again. 0-2 for Justin Turner. Batting .252 with 9 home runs and 45 RBIs. And now the 0-2. And that is going to be inside for a ball. 1-2 the count on Justin Turner. Ross Stripling in the bullpen. And now the throw to first. Not in time. It seemed like a gamble on losing Gino and Kelnick. Taking late shots on Haniger. Polanco did not pan out. Yep. It's a combination of a disastrous offseason. As we are looking at the 1-2. And the runner, no, that doesn't go. And a 2-2 count. Barely a ball. As we're looking at the 2-2 for Justin Turner. The pitch. Low for a ball, and that is going to be 3-2 full count. Do I like bunts? I love bunts, Jason. I really do. As now we're looking at a 36 pitches for Harris so far. He's been pitching quite a bit. Now the 3-2. And now here's a strikeout, and there's a throw out double play. And the lackluster effort by Randy Arozarena didn't even go hustle all the way. And that is going to retire the side. I think Justin Turner's having a word with the umpire. He's not happy. And neither am I.
Modern Exterior Solutions is a fully licensed and insured full-service exterior renovations company serving Seattle and East Side communities. We know that a home is one of your most important possessions. That's why we're committed to providing high-quality, affordable home renovations for each customer's individual budget. We're diverse enough to meet the challenges of any project you put in front of us. Our workmanship minimizes the use of third-party services, and our team works together to meet all your deadlines. Anytime there's a challenge, we work with you to find a solution. We're proud to work with distributors of quality brand products with durable, ample protection from the elements for a variety of applications, including James Hardie siding and trim. Talk with us today about your project's needs, and we can help you solve all the challenges along the way.
You think Kelnick was mentally done being with the Mariners? Yeah, I could see that. But he hasn't really done much better in Atlanta either. Dodgers on another note. Conspiracy. Do you think Kirby is tanking to get traded? I mean, don't you think the entire starting rotation is kind of burned out of it where they're pitching their hearts out and nothing is happening? Maybe. But Mariners isn't exactly a place to be anymore. I mean, they did everything they can to kill off the vibe of this team. Where was the day when this was around?
All right, guys, goodbyes only. Don't forget it.
Stop it. Thank you.
Those days are over. Either way, whether it was a bad whether that check swing didn't go through or not, it was still a really bad swing. It was a bad idea to swing at that. And I got Trent Thornton onto the mound, and I do not agree with this idea. I think you keep in Troy Taylor for one more inning. Yeah, he's not good. And the pitch. And that is a strike to Brent Rooker. As we're looking at a 1-for-3 for Brent Rooker. Single in the first. As we're looking at the 0-1. And the pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 2. And the 0-2. And that's going to be outside for a ball, 1-2. As the 1-2. And strike 3 called. I guess that's a makeup call by the umpire. And now we've got 1 out. JJ Bleday is now up to the plate. Another dangerous hitter. Now the pitch. And that is a ball. As we're looking at the 2-0 for JJ Bleday, batting .247. Looking at the 2-0. And now the pitch. Popped up and foul. That's going to be a 2-1 count. Two-one. Check swing. Did he go? He did not. That's going to be a 3-1 count for JJ Bleday. And this is where he gets a little bit nervous. I really do think Troy Taylor should have gotten one more shot. And now we're looking at the 2-2. Now the pitch. And that's going to be a 3-2 count for JJ Bleday. Full count, 3-2. As the 3-2 count it is, the pitch. Ground ball fouled. As we are looking at the 3-2. If the Mariners lose this game, I'm probably just going to take off because I can't do this. I can't even vent about them. 3-2. And he misses it for ball 4. Take your base. And now you got a runner on first base. The game-winning runs on first base. Shea Langoliers is going to be up to the plate. How dare you say the A word? Well, Jason got to deal with it. Langoliers hit that walk-off home run. And he can do it again. The pitch. Any fans are allowed, Jason. Come on, don't do this to me. And don't blame the Astros so much. It's the Mariners that self-inflicted themselves on their collapse. Mariners did this themselves. Astros had nothing to do with it. They just happened to catch fire. The 0-1. And how can you call that a ball? That was a ball, a strike. Or did Cal Raleigh adjust it late? That's a good point by Aaron Goldsmith. The 1-1. Now here's a ground ball, and that will get right through for a base hit. And there's going to be runners going to be holding on second base. And now we've got 2 runners on base, and this could be a concern. And Ian, you came at a really good time. The Mariners are probably on the verge of blowing this up badly.
Oh, I'm watching. They are about to blow it up again.
Man. I had one guy on Twitter saying I'm a glutton for punishment for covering this game.
I don't think so.
It does feel like it, though, because, man, all the other wild card teams are trying to gift the Mariners an opportunity, but they just keep abusing it. And by the way, I thought putting in Trent Thornton wasn't a good idea. I would have stayed with Troy Taylor. He was dealing. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah, I don't know what Dan was doing here. Maybe I don't know. I can't justify what he did here, but I don't think this is bad. I think Scott would have still probably run Munoz out there again.
He would have. And now we've got next hitter, and that's going to be Seth Brown, who hit the game-tying home run in the pitch. And that is a strike. Seth Brown's 2 for 3 with a home run and a single.
We cannot lose this game.
They cannot. And now the 0-1. And that is popped up, and that is unfortunately not playable. But the only good thing out of that is you got 2 strikes out of it. But I would like to just end this inning with a double play.
The double play is our only chance in this inning, to be real honest. If they get anything in the infield, it's probably going to score the run.
Yep.
Or the outfield.
And the 0-2. And that is a ball again. That's going to be a 1-2 count.
That's a funny comment about Tom Landry, except the difference is the Cowboys sucked when Landry left. The Mariners have sucked the entire
1-2. And now here's a liner, and that's a foul. And that could have been the game winner right there. That was a close one. And it really does feel like it's only a matter of time that the Mariners do lose this game. It does feel that way.
I haven't been watching too much of it. When did they score?
They scored sometime in the middle of the game. I think it was around the 4th inning was when they tied the game. Mariners scored in the top of the first, the pitch. And that almost gets away, but no one's running, and that's going to be a 2-2 count.
So basically what you're saying is our offense is dead today.
Offense is, as usual, dead today. Nothing changes.
Nope.
19 pitches for Trent Thornton. And the 2-2. And now here's a fly ball and way fouled. Ricocheted off the facade. And it went almost right back into the field. Well, the netting, so not really much at all.
So a good pop.
And we're looking at the 2-2 for Seth Brown. He could very much be the hero of the pitch. And now here is a ground ball, and that's going to get right through for a base hit. And this ball game is over, and the Oakland A's win once again on another walk-off effort. And must I say, Mariners are still 5 games back from the wild card. They had a chance to make it 4 games, and next thing you know, they have lost once again.
That puts us to 69 and 70. We are now below 500.
Below 500, and it's just absolutely painful. It's almost like, why did I even do this? I should have just I should have just walked around the neighborhood. I should have played basketball with my cousin. What am I doing covering this team? What am I even doing?
The love of the team is what got you here. I mean, we all love the Mariners to the point where we can't not watch them. It's just, and I'm not
even with the Seahawks coming up, I still don't care. Like no, Mariners baseball.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not willing to give up on him. I think Dan's going to turn around. Again, he's doing what he can with what he's got, and they're trying to fix an offense that honestly has been a lot better since they've gotten Edgar in there. It's not great, but at least we have some games where we can get some runs. But, I mean, as far as winning, I don't know what to say. The pitching's not going to hold out forever. I knew this was going to happen, and the bats just haven't been there when we need it. But, again, I missed most of the game, so I can't speak to earlier. But 3-2, you can't lose games by 1 run. You just can't, especially not against the Oakland A's. I mean, we're on a 3-game losing streak now, 4-game losing streak.
Yep, it's a 4-game losing streak. That's what it is.
4 games. I mean, If they win the next 5 and the Astros lost all of them, that would put us back at 500. And it's not probable. The Astros lose and we don't win. If the Astros win, we win. You just aren't going to play catch up.
We're just stuck.
Yeah, I don't
what
know
it
what's
is.
going to get us over the hump, truthfully. I mean, granted, yeah, yesterday if Wu didn't crap the bed, maybe we win, but it doesn't matter. I mean, Munoz comes on and gets served up by friggin' Langley, and it's upsetting to me. Langoliers hit that home run off of him, and we'll talk about yesterday since I wasn't on the show. And
I didn't even cover the game yesterday.
Yeah, I don't blame you for it. And I don't know what to say about Munoz, except if you think that's a closer, he should not be blowing a high leverage situation in the ninth. Not serving up a home run, which was opposite field home run, I have you, to a right-handed hitter. That it means he pushed that ball out of the ballpark.
He really did. And it looks like we got a visitor. We got Chad, who I invited. I think he is one of my members, so I'm going to have Chad on here. And Chad, how do you feel?
Feeling great. Good times, right?
Really good times. Yeah, good to see the Mariners at 69 and 70. At least they're not in the 69-69, so at least that joke is over.
Yeah, I mean, season's over. Like, let's be honest. It's been over, but we'll still have Mariners fans who will come out our next game. We'll win 6-1. We'll put up some runs, and then all of a sudden, hey, we're still in it.
That's what they're gonna do for the rest of the season, aren't they? They're gonna find some stupid way to keep us in. I mean, even if they were like 10 games below, I still would have been here. But man, this one hurts again. Like, and it's really no surprise at all, isn't it? Like, anything else that you saw in the flaws of this game? Like, what really got you in this game? Like, what got me was Castillo giving up 2 home runs. That was one. And Randy Arozarena kind of looked like he just looked lost and didn't care.
You want to answer that, Ian, or me?
Oh, well,
that was. I mean, one of you. You can. Chad.
After you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm right on par with you with Castillo. I mean, honestly, I'm not very emotionally involved anymore. I think it's been the last week just kind of got me. I'm watching the games, and I'll continue to watch them. I'm not going to go to any games, but I will watch them on TV and I'll follow along, but I'm just not getting angry anymore because it is what it is. But yeah, as far as this game goes, Castillo's been doing that for the last couple of years. He has a solid stat line, but he gives up a couple bombs. It seems to be his thing.
It seems to be the Mariners thing where
Agreed.
Although they don't walk a lot, but there is something that makes up for it. They give up home runs, and sometimes, maybe once in a while, maybe you do walk that guy if there's a guy on second base alone, and maybe if there's a guy that hits bombs, maybe you just take the bat away from him. Yeah. And now, Ian, it's your chance or your turn for this one. What got you in this game?
I mean, the limit. I've just been looking over it on my laptop just to see most of the stuff I missed. As far as Castillo home runs, what a surprise! Another game where Castillo literally gets hit the crap out of, and I'm going to say this for as long as I can. We got rid of Robbie Ray because we thought Castillo was better in the long term. Castillo is not better. Stat line and everything else says Castillo is a great pitcher. That's amazing. Stats don't actually define whether he's going to be able to keep us in a ball game to win. That's why, to me, wins and losses are important. Granted, yes, for most teams, if the team sucks, it's not going to look correct. But if you look at a pitcher who has a 2.66 ERA like he does, or whatever he's got, I don't remember what he's got. I think it's 3.66 or something. He's just, he's bouncing around. He has a good ERA, but he's not giving us a chance to win games because he gives up too many long balls. And until he fixes his issue, he's really not a good ace for us. I don't even think he should be I think he should be in the number 5 role. I don't think he should be the number 1. Not that it matters this late in the season with pitching matchups, but I mean, just seeing him rolled out every 5 days to get shelled is not a comforting thing. And I don't know. I much rather would have had a Robbie Ray who, maybe he'll have a bad start here and there, but when he's on, and he's going to be unhittable. Like Castillo, he can give us 7 innings against the A's, but I have yet to see him give us 7 against any quality opponent this year. And it's just the same old story that, well, maybe next year. Well, I hate that they rank him as our Cy Young pitcher because I don't think he's ever going to win a Cy Young. As far as the other stuff, we're letting the A's can hit, but the A's are not that great of a team. They're not the worst team in baseball, but we're letting a team beat the living daylights out of us 2 games in a row off walk-offs. Like, it's not like the A's are just putting 12 up on us and running us. We're in each game, and we're just handing it to them at the end going, we don't want to make the finish line. Here you go. And it's
here you go. Yeah, look at Justin Turner with a terrible swing, a check swing decision, and then Randy Arozarena like half-assed his stolen base attempt.
We're not going to talk about Randy. It's, you got
like to. We've got to.
Okay, fine.
Hey,
I like
July,
the guy, but
since
he's
July
half-assing
1st,
everything.
Since July 1st, A's have had the 3rd best record in the freaking American League.
That's just insane.
That's
and they could be a force next year, depending how.
And they
how
spend
everything
like
goes.
$10.
Well, the difference is when they spend $10, they get quality players. When we spend $10, we get some washed-up piece of crap like Jorge Polanco.
No, when we spend $50, we get crap.
We don't spend good crap. I mean,
here's the thing that pisses me off about them.
Yeah.
Go for it.
No, you can go.
It sounds like you got something, Chad, I'd like to hear.
Stuff that I'm sick and tired of hearing about on 710 and just a narrative in general across a lot of the podcasters is it's the ballpark. Don't get me wrong. There's lots of statistics to support the narrative. However, what about the early 2000s? What about when this park first came to be? That offense was legendary.
I mean, I can address that. At least from what I've seen, it has nothing to do with the ballpark. It has to do with the players. If you look at the great players who have played here, they've done well. Not considering the people we've had, but there's been good seasons. But I mean, Edgar hit well at Safeco just fine. A-Rod came here. He'd always torture us. Stephen Kwan recently just tears it up. It's not the field. I think they just want to make the excuse it is because, I mean, if you've ever been to San Francisco, they're right on the water as well, way closer than we are. They get breezes, and I don't see the Giants having the same problems as us hitting. They hit their McCovey Cove shots all the time. So I think it's just another weak excuse. I mean, just like when they moved the walls in 8 years ago, 10 feet because we couldn't hit enough home runs. Well, it sure helped the other teams, but it isn't helping the Mariners.
Well, I mean, the offense in general is 12th in the league back when we had Robbie Cano and Nelson Cruz, and that wasn't even a balanced lineup. The last 3 or 4 spots in that lineup sucked.
Yep. They did.
It really did.
Again, it's just excuses. And as far as 710's concerned, I love Rick Riz. I think he does a great job announcing the games, but I can't stand Shannon Dreyer. I can't stand Angie Mentink Stakes. I can't stand most of the rest of the broadcasters because it's like they know there's a problem and they don't want to address it. Now, as far as Rick Riz, I'm not going to badmouth him because I love Rick. Rick and Dave Niehaus were what I grew up with listening.
Rest in peace, Dave.
Amazing job. Yeah. And I feel bad for him. I mean, Rick has to go in there every day with a great face, smile, believe in this club. And I feel like it's pretty sad that they aren't giving him something to go out on a high note because we don't know how many years we have left with him. I mean, Dave Niehaus, rest in peace, died pretty early too. And he's, it's just, how long are we going to have these greats around the ball club before they're going to be gone? And like having Dan Wilson and Edgar, that's great. But is it going to be a long-term fix? Next season will tell. But I don't know. With this club, if we don't do a dang thing all off season, this club next year will not win. They will not with what they have.
Yeah, look, I love those guys. Like, they're legends, they're Hall of Famers. I mean, I respect all of them, but the message has gotten stale. It's been stale for a very long time, and I'm not even talking about just this regime. I'm talking about the entire franchise. I have been listening to Bill Kruger and Brad Adams sugarcoat pile of crap performances for 20 years.
How it goes.
It's garbage. It's garbage. Like, I was stationed on the East Coast. I listened to the Phillies post games. I listened to the Yankees. I listened to the Red Sox. They hold their teams to a higher standard. These are mainstream broadcasts tearing their teams
I mean, you got to look at it. Those are winning franchises. They're championship franchises. And I think in Seattle, we don't have the same expectation of being a champion because there's never been that narrative. Now, yeah, maybe from 95 to 2001, we had a team that went out every year and competed. I don't even think they were held to it. I think Lou held them to that standard, but I don't think ownership or stuff tried to hold them to that standard. And I mean, they just found ways to win. That's the difference. And then now we're here, 20 years of BS. And I mean, for me, when I really started to know there was a problem with ownership was definitely around 2009, 10. And then there's like the 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. They were like just garbage. I mean, Felix's perfect game was like the first bright light in I don't know how many years, except for the game, which I wonder if you remember. It was a 21-7 win by the Mariners, and they put up 21 runs with Justin Smoke hitting home runs from both sides of the plate. It was one
I think that was the Texas Rangers game. I think I can actually go to that game exactly. And the only reason I remember that game was because that game happened 2 days after my ex-girlfriend and I broke up. That's how I coped by watching a Mariners game.
But it's like those.
What a
those
terrible
bright
coping
spots
mechanism.
That was the only two. Those are like only bright spots in this entire like.
Dude, back then Felix was the only reason to watch the Mariners.
Oh, it was. I mean,
we had a freaking lineup with Jose Lopez, Yuniescu Betancourt, Michael Saunders, Rob Johnson, like garbage.
No, I mean we had
21-8 by the way.
Betancourt and Jose Lopez and Richie Sexton playing first. What an infield!
You guys are ready for how that game went? It was 21-8 versus the Texas Rangers.
Yeah.
Blake Bevan was your pitcher, and Iwakuma came in as a relief, as a closer. Okay. So here was your starting lineup. Yeah, Dustin Ackley leading off, Sean Figgins, Kyle Seager, Jesus Ice Cream Eating Montero, Justin Smoke, Alex Liddy, and then Mike Harp. Alex Liddy I actually liked, had hope for him, but didn't work out. Miguel Olivo, Michael Saunders, Brendan Ryan, and Munenori Kawasaki. Wow. And here were the home run hitters. Dustin Ackley, Jesus Montero, Justin Smoke, and yeah, those were your home run guys.
Historically, the 3-hole is supposed to be your best hitter, right? And we got freaking Jesus Montero.
Hey man, there's been a lot of bad 3-hole hitters. I don't even know where to begin with how bad our 3-hole.
I mean, Deidre used to be our 3-hole hitter. Like,
I remember what was it? We got Russell the Muscle Branyan. Everyone thought he was going to be a great 4-hole hitter, and he barely hit 30 bombs and had a horrible season.
Hey, it was a great 30 bombs.
That was the bright spot when you had Ichiro 3 hitters ahead getting on, and then everyone else would get out before Russ could get up.
Yeah. Oh, Dan Wilson's on the call. He's on the press conference. Let's see what he's got to say. It's probably going to be the same typical thing.
It's probably the same bullshit. Pardon my French.
I don't care at this point. Also, for anyone else that would like to join the show, here's the link again. If anyone wants to vent about how bad this baseball team really is right now. And there's the link on the chat. I also put it on my Twitter as well, or X, or whatever you want to call it. Just talking about players kind of stiff or something. I don't know.
Service was the guy who would say, it'll turn every night. It'll turn around. And I kind of feel like, don't get me wrong, I'm not judging Dan only a few games into his tenure here, but so far I've heard him say like the at bats tonight. They were really competitive.
I really wonder if Dan's saying just whatever at this point because he knows how bad the problem is and they need time to fix it. If he really there's nothing for him to say that would be productive. I'm not trying to defend him. I'm just wondering if that's it, or else maybe he is not the guy. I mean, I don't know. I'm just glad I don't have to see Scott Service. Although the first game back where you covered it and I did the live at the end, there was a dude up in the right field bleachers with binoculars that looked just like Scott Service, and everyone was pointing it out. I'm like, did Scott chill up in the bleachers and watch
Randy style?
Yeah. a little Bobby Valentine action up in right field.
J Trend Podcast. Not much Dan can do right now. Next year, we'll start to judge him more. My thing about next year, though, is let's say if Jerry DePoto does not return, but if the knowledge of Dan Wilson is still going to be there, that may limit who the GM could be. Because what if that next GM wants their own guy? Like if it's Theo Epstein, he's going to call for it. He may call for at least Joe Madden or Terry Francona.
Terry Francona, yeah, maybe. It's nice to see Trade in the comments. That's cool.
Yeah, it really is. But Trident, you got a video to make yourself though, right? Unless you're just trying to get ideas off of my show. I appreciate it.
He's over it. He's burnt out. What else
He's
is there to
burnt.
say?
Yeah, Trade just doesn't want to do much.
I mean, look at me. I
Groundhog
burnt
Day.
out. I nearly fell asleep these last 2 games or so.
Yeah, you guys mind if I just go on a little side tangent just for a moment about
why not?
Yeah,
future of this
say
ball
whatever
club?
you gotta say. Anything.
Well, I wrote a little bit about it on Twitter earlier today, which is, again, I'm not saying this just to be pessimistic. I definitely lean heavily in the pessimistic side of things when it comes to the Mariners for a reason. But with that being said, I mean, I just don't see any viable route to truly fix the offense next year, which you can't say, well, maybe in 3 years, because the pitching is here now. The rotation's here now, and it's only going to get more expensive as the years go on. And so you got at least, look, I don't buy into the Polanco hype. I don't see how you bring him back, even if he is only $10 million, because he's the worst defensive second baseman in the league. And that's back-to-back years we've had that at that position with Colton Wong and frickin' Polanco. Like, and his bat, while better, still does not justify being brought back. Like, and then so you need second base, you need first base. You can't go into a win it season banking on Locklear when you have as many holes as you do elsewhere. Your JP realistically should move over to second base, and they should be hitting him ninth. On a great team, he's hitting ninth, so you can turn over the lineup with him. Third base is trash with Rojas. He's been one of the worst hitters since he was hot to begin the season. I guess your outfield solidified. However, Divish is already talking about they might need to cut payroll and trade Randy and just put it together. So that means what? Canzone again? Rayleigh? That's trash. And so
I hear you, man.
realistically, there's not going to be money available because Haniger's not an idiot. He's going to pick up the 16, 17 next year. Garver's here for another 12. Like, that's for a team that's only willing to spend 140, and they act like they're having to scrape through the couch cushions in order to find even that. You're looking at you have no money already. Heading into next year, you already have essentially no dollars, and you need improvement from 4 or 5 different spots in the lineup. Where's it going to come from? You can't keep bringing in Polanco-esque like players. It's proven to be a disaster. So the only option is to get better guys, but that requires money or trading prospects. So as much as it sucks, the only route I see to get young, controllable bats who are showing promise currently are by trading at least one. At least. I personally vouched for 2. People can harp on me all they want because I know we love our pitching, but it's not doing the job. There's too many holes to just have an elite rotation. I think you got to trade 2 of the big dogs, and that's going to bring you back 3 to 4 bats that you can plug in.
I mean, I don't disagree. I think that
Me neither.
I think we have money that we aren't spending that we could use. We'll figure out if that actually is true or not. As far as Haniger, I don't care if we lose 16, 17 mil, and this is a hot take. I'd cut him. I want him out of this clubhouse, out of this team, because he sucks. I don't care how great of a clubhouse presence he is. When he comes in, besides the random home runs he hits, he doesn't provide anything except a veteran in the clubhouse, and you can get that anywhere. We need a second baseman. We have not had a decent second baseman since Adam Frazier, and he wasn't by any means that amazing, but he was there. We need first, second. Truthfully, if you move JP or not, I would like JP gone, but first, second, third, you have an outfield. Whether you keep them, what you do with them, that's up in the air, and you have a catcher. And yeah, I would say if we trade Castillo, which is a hot take because a lot of people don't want to do that, you
I
could
do.
get something. I would not trade Gilbert, Kirby, Miller, or Wu at the moment, just because they are 4 really good pitchers, and you could pick up a 5th one to make the rotation if you're in a win now as of next year. Now, if you're talking about this is a 3-year build out, which I don't want to hear, then yeah, you trade away Gilbert, you trade away or a Kirby, and you throw in Castillo, and you go get those bats. But the question is, are we going to sign them for long term? Because like you said, signing Mitch Garver, like another, I just blows my mind. He wasn't good in Texas, so why did we offer him that much here? Another deal that I just don't agree with from Jerry
So
DePoto.
to challenge you really quickly on it, and not in a derogatory way, just to get your thought process. How then? Castillo is not. Look, Castillo's good, but with his contract and his age, and the reality is he is declining. That doesn't mean he's atrocious, but he is. Like his prime is no longer. So if you're not getting a premium bat for Castillo anymore, it's not happening. So if your idea is to only trade Castillo and hold the rest of the cards in the rotation, knowing how limited we are in terms of other resources, how are you filling out those positions to a point where fans can say that is a freaking lineup right there, baby? Let's go,
You're not.
2025.
You're not without money, and that's why I said it has to be that we need to spend money or trade prospects.
Yeah.
If we're going off of what you're saying and say the money is not there, then yeah, you have to unload a Wu, a Miller, or a Gilbert along with him. I just think
Yeah.
Castillo can bring in something. Like Castillo could probably bring us in a third baseman for an entire year from somewhere because he's not the worst contract in the world. But again, yeah, I don't know if he's past his prime or not. I don't think you're ever going to get what he has had in the past. I don't think that he's the end of the time, but I agree with you. I don't think he's what we paid for him, and I don't think he's ever delivered what we asked for him. But
You guys think we could get like a Mountcastle straight up from the
yeah,
Orioles for him?
probably. I mean, it depends on what the Orioles really want. I was thinking, if anything, we could probably get a Matt Chapman straight across. Not saying the Giants would do that, but that kind of a player, nothing out there, but enough of a bat that, hey, that would be at least a filler for third base that would be there for an entire season.
Yeah. One more hypothetical. Do you think there's any world where the Tigers give up Riley Green if it's around a
No.
Logan Gilbert deal?
Yeah, maybe for Gilbert, and then we lose more, but I don't think in any world the Mariners want to do that for that. Now, if we're going to invest, in my opinion, if we're going to put all our money in a young chip player, you got to look at the Orioles, and you got to look at Jackson Holiday or
Yep.
their who's the other guy, their third baseman. He's really good right now.
I think Holiday is only being moved to the Mariners for Gilbert or Kirby.
Oh, probably,
I
but
don't think it's
that's
Wu or
what I'm
Miller.
saying. Like that's what you need to invest in if we're going to go
Yeah.
for a player like that. We need
No,
that
I
kind
agree.
of dude and lock down for a long time.
That's the
Well,
name I
even-
actually proposed earlier today. Holiday.
I mean, do you think that? I mean, with Jackson Holiday, which the thing is, like knowing how the Mariners develop their hitters, I don't even know if that could even work anyway. So that's why. I mean, he's still got Cole Young in the. He's still in the farm system. Been
Yeah.
playing pretty well, and it's kind of a mystery at this point that the Mariners haven't even given him a shot because who else do the Mariners have? Like they putting in Luis Urias, and you're putting in Urias. At least give Cole Young a shot to see what he can do. And
In
Do you guys have
AA,
his
if
flash?
I'm not
Do you guys
incorrect.
have his flash available?
Yeah, but I believe he's in AA, and I don't even know if he could make the jump up to the majors and hit that well. I mean, have we even tried him in AAA yet?
We
no,
haven't.
but
And that's
usually
the
they
thing, is his numbers
skip.
haven't been exceptional.
No, I'm aware they skip, but then you have an issue like Holiday earlier this season where he went up, he didn't perform, went down, and came back, and now he's able to perform. You have something like that, and with the Mariners not being able to develop a hitter, would it really be smart to rush him up now and say, yeah, there's Edgar, but say we don't get to work with as much as other stuff because say the Mariners start winning? Like, do you really want to chance his production and performance for a half-ass end of a season? That's the real question that you have to start thinking about. Because as Dan said, it's not like he's thrown in the towel, so we're still playing for the playoffs.
Yeah,
Which,
dude, have you guys
boy.
seen Jackson Holiday's minor league numbers? They're
yeah, I have. They're
stupid.
insane. They are really good.
Dude, he was
Jackson
getting on
Holiday,
base at like a 500 clip. Like,
yeah,
ridiculous.
he's going to be a good player. He's going to be great for a long time. It's a shame the Royals locked down. I can't even think of his name right now.
Bobby Witt Jr.
Yeah, Bobby Witt. It's
Yep.
like another
Monster.
great player. Who else has gotten signed to a massive contract?
Hey, we got Julio, baby.
Yeah, that's
Julio
great.
and his flashy Instagram, and when he
The only
talked a
thing-
really big game
Yeah.
in the
the only-
2024
I'm
spring
sorry
training,
for
he talked a
being so
big game.
condescending
Man,
about
the
that.
No,
only
you have
Julio
no. It's
brings-
fine, Chad. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
The only thing Julio brings in my mind is he brings an energy to the crowd, and he brings the Instagram live videos, and he's obviously supporting the women's soccer team of Seattle as he's dating one of their players. Other than that, Julio's bat's like somewhere down in where's he from? The Dominican Republic. He left it down there because sure can't hit
Yeah.
up here.
Who's the most productive position player, most exciting player we have right now on this team? I mean, is it
Luke
Cal?
Rayleigh. Or Cal Raleigh.
Victor Robles.
Victor Robles.
Freaking guy we got off of.
If we're talking
waivers.
about not a bat, Brian Wu by far is having an amazing second half.
He does have
And it's being
exciting stuff.
wasted.
Yeah, and I mean, besides his one bad start, he's been lights out, which has been really cool to see because a lot of people on podcast last year I heard they liked Wu's stuff, but they didn't like what Wu did in games, and I kept saying to a lot of people he's going to be good, and everyone's like, no, you're wrong. And look at him this year; he has the stuff. He just needed time. It's like our injured pitcher that I can't even think of because he's been out all year.
Brash.
Yeah, Brash. Great stuff. Just needs time to put it together.
Just
and
super erratic.
Yeah.
All right. So the owner of this channel, Mr. Rooftop Sports, we've said what we would do. What are you going to do to fix the offense, man?
What am I like? As in, like right now, or like toward the off season?
Off season. What do you do?
Man, I didn't really want to get into the off season because I'm still holding on to freaking hope on 5 games back. But the first thing I'm doing, Jerry DiPoto's gone. I'm done with him because I overlooked so many trades that he did. I was literally defending him because I loved how he did the farm system. And that made it really easy to forget about his in-season stuff and off-season. But man, trades that really stick out. Kendall Graveman, Paul Sewald, Eugenio Suarez, Jared Kelnick. It's like, now you look at it in retrospect, at least one of those trades should have been a fireable offense. Like, the worst one I ever thought of was the Graveman trade, mostly because of the timing. Because if we all remember, Dylan Moore hit a grand slam home run to beat the Houston Astros. Vibes were great. And then what does Jared do the next day? Oh, let's trade our best pitcher in the bullpen in Kendall Graveman for Abraham Toro and Joe Schmo Smith. Now, if it was like a 2019 season and it was the same situation and we traded someone like that of that caliber, fine, whatever. But they did it in a contending season. So yeah, firing Jerry, and I've got to be open to the idea of hiring like a Theo Epstein and even possibly replace Dan Wilson's job. Like, I hate to say it, I love Dan, but with the timing, you got to get a proven winner. You can't just... it's a small sample size to see what Dan Wilson can do, but the sad thing is we may not even get a fair sample size anyway because of how badly constructed this team really was.
Yeah.
And other things I want to do is see if the Mariners had a great ownership, go for the Juan Soto, give Julio someone to work with, maybe get a Pete Alonso, or maybe or basically anyone good in free agency, because you can't repeat exactly what they did last season. They do that again, it's over. So first things I'm doing, fire Jerry, get actual management. And before I can even, the only way that I could even be the owner is if my crypto goes to like it has to explode like a nuclear bomb. And even if I saw that crypto exploding on my phone, I'd probably get a heart attack and die before I even get to even buy the team anyway.
Or if they'd even sell you the team. They probably wouldn't let you. They like losing.
No, they like losing, and they like running the team like literally a corporation, because not only is it John Stanton, it's also Chris Larson, who's also not exactly a popular figure. And it's also, we got Howard Lincoln and John Ellis still in the board members. So even if like they wanted to spend money, they still have to go through Howard Lincoln. He was like, well, back in 2001, we got this guy named Brett Boone for peanuts, and he got 37 home runs. So if I could do that, so can you. No, I'm not authorizing the payment. So maybe it may not be 100% John Stanton. It could be the likes of Howard Lincoln still being around. John Ellis, the CEO of the 90s, he was also a forgotten figure for good reason too, because he also slashed the team after 95. And that's the thing. That's why I'm tired of this whole 95 nostalgia, because they are also, they have like a weird bromance for 95, but if you ask them, okay, what happened after 95? None of them are going to answer the question. They're not going to tell you that Tino got traded to cut salary. They're not going to tell you that the Mariners didn't retain all these guys or even went out to get anyone.
Gave A-Rod a pathetic, offer.
They gave him a pathetic offer, and yet he's the villain. He didn't deserve to be vilified. I think forgiveness is due for him.
No,
so yes,
Divish and Passan seem to be. I mean, if you read the tea leaves, they're already starting to drop hints that Mariners fans need to gear up, because we won't be spending. That's what they're suggesting already, and the season's not even over.
You know what? If we don't spend, eventually the fans hopefully will figure that out, and we'll just start not going to games, not buying season tickets. Because I mean, we're at the point here where either the fans need to step up or something, or we're gonna have another situation just like Oakland, where the owners run away and the Mariners are nowhere. And if no one goes to games, the Mariners won't be able to have that revenue, and baseball could leave Seattle just the same way it left Oakland.
Yep.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me, even with a fantastic stadium. And that's the thing, we can't win, because if we threaten to boycott, then John Stanton's going to he's going to try to threaten the city for another stadium, say, oh yeah, we need a stadium or else we're out of here.
Which is fine with me, because if they leave, then we can get a new ball club in here. And
no, let's not do that. I'm not going to go through another 20 years of hoping the Sonics come another baseball team. I'm already burned out with the Sonics whole story.
That's completely different, though. I mean, that dude sold them straight. His whole motive was to sell them, and Starbucks screwed everyone, because they should never have sold them off.
Look, I'm also lining Stanton's pockets. There's no doubt about it. I've gone.
They got the money.
I've gone to a lot of games this year, and I will admit it. But I don't go because I'm so excited about the latest Julio bobblehead. I don't go because of Disney firework night. I don't do any of that. Like, I go because I absolutely love the smell of that cleanly fresh cut grass. I enjoy grabbing a bottomless soda, and I like sitting there and watching some baseball live. I just love it.
Yeah, but go to minor league baseball, man.
I tell you what, man, these fans aren't serious though.
No, they are.
I went to one of the latest games I went to was against the Angels, and it was we blew the lead. It was the last time Stanek pitched for us, actually, and he blew the lead in the 8th. And it's now 3-2 Angels, and we ended up losing. And I kid you not, after we give up the lead, our fans are doing the frickin' wave. They're doing the frickin' wave. We're losing.
Cringe.
We're in a postseason run. What are we doing? It's not serious. Like, people go for garlic fries and bobbleheads, just like Mark from Maple Valley said. It's the truth.
Yeah, I mean, it's just I have season tickets, so I go quite a bit.
Yeah,
and they're frustrating to watch. It's more frustrating to see the fan base get excited on a Julio pop out, and they're like, "Oh, it looked good." It's like, no, dude, it was not even good off the bat. And
nope,
I just don't understand why they're gonna keep spending and supporting for the team, getting all the jerseys, but it's like, at what point do you realize how many of the jerseys you guys are selling? Those guys are gone. they're all gone. Like the last jersey I have that I wear mostly is my Edgar Martinez jersey, just because it's nostalgic. But I got a jersey of France for the Connect,
All-Star
because I just
or
wanted to have
Connect.
a Connect jersey,
Yeah.
and it didn't really matter. And look at that, he's gone, and that's 2 years just out. And then
Yeah.
how many Kellenics I see out there?
Oh,
How
yeah.
many? Who was the when he came? Flash, D. Gordon. Everyone's got like I see a bunch of these jerseys. I'm like, dude, these guys were here for maybe a year.
Dude, the perfect person to get right now, or in a
It's
perfect
Julio.
world, dude. Oh yeah, Julio for sure. But I'd love to get a Cal, but he's not signing here.
Well,
Cal's
he's not gonna.
going to be here.
It's not even about the signing. I mean, after ownership threatened him, after he called them out for not spending, there's no way he's going to be back after his contract's up. There's no
Agreed.
way they're going to even offer him something worth it. We
Agreed.
don't value the 20+ bombs he puts up a year and the stellar defensive effort he gives us each game in and each game out. So I mean, it's just a lack of ownership. It's a lack of discipline, and ultimately, as we beating the dead horse as we do every night, me and Rooftop love to do it. When
Yeah.
are we going to get the answers we've all been waiting for? When is this team going to do something? Like the first game Dan Wilson managed, when we walked it off and we had the 7 singles and everything, that really did have an amazing feel to it. And the crowd was electric there. But at the same time, you go the next day, like my buddy did, and it was deader than a doornail. We ended up losing that game. It's just like, it's just, I don't know. But yeah, most people go for the garlic fries, as you said, or they go to get a Julio t-shirt, or they want to go get their soda and sit there and play on their phone. Like, no one's going for the game. It's hard to see people who actually go because they just love the game.
Yeah, quite frankly, it pisses me off. Like, I'm not
Oh,
cut
it
from
does.
the same cloth. Like, I'm not. I've been following the Mariners for a long time, but I do not share the same type of temperament that this city does. This
I don't.
like
I'm fed up.
when France was sent off. Yeah, I'm happy for him that he's doing well, but France has been garbage for not just this year. He's been awful.
Yeah.
And he doesn't provide athleticism. He doesn't steal bags. Like, his defense is okay. Like, it's average. But I see people all over Twitter talking, oh, it's messed up. How could you send France away? Fan favorite, dude. Like, I'm just like, because he's terrible. Because he's here to play baseball, not share smiles. Like,
yeah,
I don't.
I disagreed on that, mostly just because I liked his I like that he tried, at least effort-wise, on defense. Now, granted, yeah, he didn't pick up bags. He couldn't hit for crap. And we didn't need him. But I was not a fan of this. Let's try to run Luke Raley out there, screw up, or bring up Locklear and have him do nothing. And now we're in that hole where we don't even have a first baseman, where at least with France, you knew you had a first baseman. Whether we sign one or get a new one, you knew you had someone there. And I guess that's
Yeah.
what I was upset about it. Now,
No,
I
I get
agree
that.
with
It was
you.
just look, France is just an example. But really what my point was is it's across all Seattle sports. It's this idea, like people pleading 3-4 years ago to bring back Ichiro when
Yeah,
Ichiro
no,
is like 93 years old. I'm like,
I'll agree with
no,
you on that.
no, I do not want to bring back Ichiro. In
I think
Seattle, it's Marchand when he's 34 and he just doesn't have the knees anymore, and he's taken 1,000,000 pounds of pressure in terms of hits. Like, I'm over it. Like
no,
Griffey when he's got a walker out there and he
I
gives you a single every 60 games. Like, the list goes on and on. Like,
I mean,
people crying. Like, Haniger comes back and you think that we just signed a Hall of Famer. Like, he was injured all of last year. He's like 33 years old. We trade for him, give up on Robbie Ray, which whatever. And all of a sudden, I swear, all of Twitter is like, World Series, baby! Let's go! Let's go! I look at the stat line. He played like 20 games for them last year. And he did nothing. He was a negative WAR player for them last year. But because we love Hanny, baby, he's going to come and save the Mariners.
Rooftop over
Garbage
here is having a
defense
heart
I'm
and
just
all.
attack.
losing it.
Oh, I just don't get it. Like, we fall in love with the players, which I totally get, but we have no concept of how to let them go when it's time.
No, I want to say that was one of the greatest poetic speeches I've ever heard. But
I love it, and I
dude, it's
pinned
just
that time.
no, dude.
I can
You're
play it
so
again.
accurate. They want players that are out of their prime, and what I think is hilarious, though, the other thing, I mean, even now that Rooftop used it, for example, Pete Alonso. We need Vlad. We need Pete. One big hitter is not going to fix the problems we have, and that's what I find so funny. Like these people just don't. They don't think of it. They just want that flashy name. And I'm sitting here, but I mean, the Haniger one's just so accurate. I mean, I just remember Twitter blew up, and I'm like, dude, this guy, we got 2 people for him and traded away Robbie Ray and Deska Falani for who? For who? I don't even know. And then it's just like, but Mitch is back. He's got us our 8 home runs this year, 13, whatever. Man, he's really just providing that crap that we really didn't need.
Well, and
Regarding Ty
the fan
France,
base is so easily swindled. I mean,
yeah.
Haniger gets hot for what, a week and a half, like a month ago, and immediately it's like Dipoto is waiting all year for him to have a decent stretch so he can come out and be like, "Yep, this is why we traded for him."
Yeah,
Like
Dipoto does
no,
that
he's
to
still
whoever.
bad.
I mean, Dipoto could straight up trade for if Jorge Polanco hit a 3 home run game. He'd be like, right there's why I spent all that money this offseason.
Exactly.
I'm doing you guys a favor. I told you so.
Hey,
Exactly.
he's gonna come out, and as me and Rooftop have talked in other ones, he's gonna be like, "That's our 54% win rate right there with
Right
Jorge
there.
Polanco."
You know what I really want to see? This is what I really want to see. I want to see the Mariners win 54% of their games finishing the season and still miss the playoffs. That's what I want to see.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if
That'd
we're
be
gonna,
the
what's funny about France is, I still follow him on Instagram just to see, and yesterday he went 4 for 4, and that was the hilarious thing. Is like everyone, welcome to the Reds, baby. At least we love you more than the Mariners fans. I'm sitting here going, no, the Mariners fans love him. They just don't understand he wasn't able to hit.
Well, to make
Yeah.
matters worse, Ty France is actually in Cincinnati a 284 hitter with a 346 OBP, OPS plus of 119. That was a reflection of how bad our coaching really is. Now, maybe if he was there with Edgar, could have been a little different, but I don't know.
I mean,
I don't know anymore.
Ty France, truthfully, based on what he is, he should be a 300 hitter. He should be contact only. He's not power, and he's supposed to drive in runs. That is what Ty France is. He is a 5 hitter, 5-6 hitter at best. 3 if you have a great cleanup hitter.
Dude, every player that we've put on this team, and that dates back to the offseason and spring training, all of them are hitting 7, 8, 9 on a good team.
Oh, for sure. The only one that isn't
in his prime.
Except for Randy, which again,
Well,
if
yeah,
he
now
was
that
having
we've
a
acquired
good
him.
season, if he was having a good season, wouldn't. But yes, everyone else we've grabbed on this team is nowhere near a top hitter.
Even Randy is an elite 2. You know,
yes.
Put him in the second hole. He's not a cleanup guy.
No, he's not.
He's not. The numbers prove it, and they're still continuing to use him as a cleanup, which makes no sense. Like, what I would do
but they're
is
also got JP and leadoff. Like, nothing makes sense.
Well, I mean, I think, this is a hot take. I say we play backwards baseball day. We put Cal Raleigh in the leadoff because he's got blazing speed. We run it. We put Julio and everyone fast at the end of the lineup, and you just load that top end. You put Luke Raley up there. You put
Nuke Rayleigh.
Nuke Raley. You put freaking Justin Turner. You put the slowest 4 up there in the top 4, and you watch. We'll win a game somehow with that bumbly of a running crew.
Nuke Rayleigh's a dope nickname. Don't get me wrong. I've seen the whole Nuke meme on Twitter and stuff. But that nickname, you'd think like someone who wasn't that familiar with baseball, they hear Nuke Rayleigh, and they think they're gonna go and see 40 bombs from the guy. Like he's a freaking role player.
What the Seawald trade still pisses me off because Canzone has the worst routes in history playing defense. He can't hit the broadside of a barn. Whatever happened to Cade Marlowe? Oh, yeah, he's in AAA. He died. And then is it Rojas we got with him? Yeah, Rojas.
Yep, Rojas and Ryan Bliss.
I don't ever have to see Rojas play third base again. I said this. I'd never say this again.
6'4" platoon Rojas right there, baby.
If I didn't, I said this when Toro was here. If I never have to see Toro play for the Mariners again, I'd be a happy man. Well, if I have to see Rojas's happy little crappy 6'4" platoon ass again,
Yep.
I want him gone. I want him out. I just can't. Our third base platoon is crazy. I'd rather watch Dylan Moore boot balls at third than watch Rojas come up there and give us nothing each night.
Well, according to Brad Adams, who goes on the Puck Show on YouTube once a week, according to him this morning, he thinks that the Mariners will be bringing back Rojas for third because his defense is so good. And he thinks that Polanco will be back at second and that they're going to give Locklear the keys over at first. And that Canzone will battle it out for one of the outfield spots if they need to trade Randy. Add away, baby. Mariners World Series 2025. Let's go.
Well,
You know what? Here's
here's
my reaction to that. I gotta show you my reaction to that.
You know, we're probably actually going to just trade Cal this offseason. And don't worry, we'll just bring Harry Ford up. We got Harry Ford in the minors. We don't need it.
Yeah.
There we go.
Let's go. Let's bring back Luis. Yeah, he's been raking in AAA. Let's go.
Let's call up Felnine Celestine. He has consistent injury problems too.
There you go. Look, the reality is that this team, it's not a rocket science. It's not a secret. I'm just going to put it out there, though. This organization wants to be the Diamondbacks. They want to be the team that just lucks into the World Series somehow.
No, they got in because the Phillies sucked in that series.
And the Dodgers.
But that's what they want to be. They're not planning on building a team that can go to the World Series. The hope is that they just luck into it at the perfect time.
I would just like to.
You basically just quoted Howard Lincoln. Our goal is to not win a World Series. Our goal is to field a competitive team year after year to put itself in position to win a World Series. And then 2 years later, Mariners lose 99 games. And your only highlight was Edgar Martinez getting high fives to the fans for his retirement and Ichiro's 262. That was all we got.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, this person, Jules, is blowing up about how Bregman is back and Tucker. Who gives a crap who the Astros get back? We can't catch them, let alone beat them. So I don't care if they got their entire Dusty Baker and George Springer and everyone else back. It's not going to help us win.
How crazy is it to think back to, a couple years ago when we were in the playoffs? I mean, it legitimately, like, for as pessimistic as I am, it legitimately felt like we went toe-to-toe with the Astros.
No.
We just needed to make a couple of elite moves to put us over the top.
I'm going to take that one step further on you. We did go toe-to-toe. We beat them. We sold. Robbie Ray shouldn't have been brought in. He is not a closer. That was not the role he needed to be in. So you win that game. Game 2, we ended up getting beat by a lot, but we were in it for a while. Again, pitching let us down. You lose. Game 3, 18 innings. You ran the best team in baseball, 18 innings, and you can't win because, that's right. We don't know how to put the ball in play. We should have been able to get that runner over to third and then sack fly and win the game. We did, and I think we could have beaten the Astros, and I think we could have been in the American League Championship
against the Yankees.
Yeah, I think we could have played the Yankees, and whether we win or lose, it's a thing that I don't know. But we beat the Blue Jays. We played comeback baseball. That team, as a team, was fun to watch because they were kind of like how the A's built a team, a bunch of random pieces that worked together. But no, it felt good, but we could have beat the Astros. The Astros got lucky because we were the kryptonite that year. They were going to beat everyone but us. They could not beat the Mariners that year. We had their number, and we sold it. Scott Service sold that game, and it doesn't matter. And as far as Jordan's at bat, I'm tired of everyone saying that broke the Mariners back. Jordan, I'm so glad his 6'6" whatever butt can hit a fastball, a two-seam up in the zone out of the ballpark. I'd hope anyone, Rooftop, if he got that pitch in softball, would be putting that out of the ballpark. Anything to any hitter that is a two-seam fastball high should be belted out of the ballpark. Yeah. If Jordan had missed that, say he misses, which 3 days later or 2 days later when they played in game 3, Robbie came in for 2 innings and went scoreless. Robbie Ray, it wasn't that he wasn't. It's just that matchup, when you are a fastball pitcher who doesn't have overpowering stuff against a great fastball hitter, just didn't make sense to me. That's why I don't understand why he was put in that position. But Jordan's hit, who cares? It was a walk-off. Say the Mariners didn't have the lead and we were in that position and we had hit the walk-off. Same thing to the Astros. Who knows if they come back the next day? I mean, it was a momentum shift for sure, but it was not a broken back kind of play.
Yeah,
And
I
I'm
mean,
just
look,
tired of the fans making that excuse that it was Robbie Ray's fault. Cal called the pitch. Cal called the game. Stop blaming Robbie Ray for throwing a fastball that Cal called. Cal Raleigh did not think through calling back-to-back fastballs. The first one, Jordan pieced down the line foul and then crushed the next one. Did you not think that why are we going back to the same pitch on him when he's looking fastball high? Just
yeah, I
my
mean, look,
thoughts.
to bring it, no, I totally agree with everything, but to bring it to be able to tie it back to our current predicament, that run though, that postseason run speaks to a problem that I firmly believe we have now, which is, and I'm going to get some flack for this one for sure, but I don't like the whole Seattle and Dipoto and the bullpen lab and how amazing. Look, Seawald, awesome. Like Sadler, awesome. He's definitely pulled out some dudes out of thin air. Spire for a year, like it's amazing. I'll give him credit. However, in that playoff run, who did service in every single pinch that we got in late in the game? Did he keep having to call on over and over until he burned him out?
Matt Brash.
Brash, Munoz.
He burned the
He
hell out of
kept
him out.
tagging those dudes over and over. There became a point where he was only calling on them in the 7th, 8th, and 9th. It was like them that it was guaranteed. Which spoke to what? He had Sadler in there. He had Spire. He had these guys who had good numbers during the regular season. But what are they not? They're not high leverage arms. They're not. They're
No,
not guys that you're going to say their best hitter is coming up to bat. I'm calling this guy in right now.
and that's what I don't agree with. I don't think we should be pitching a dude for one solo guy unless it's in the 9th inning. But yeah, we don't have a bullpen. We do not have a true setup because Brash is hurt. We do not have a closer. I think Munoz, in my opinion, Munoz is a 7-8 pitcher. He is a setup. He is not a closer. He has good stuff, but he freaks out in the 9th inning. I would love to see us bring in even heck and a Aroldis Chapman at this age who throws 104. That is a closer right there. The A's have that guy. I can't remember his name, but this
Miller.
year, yeah, that dude throws heat. That is a closer right there. That is what you want. Ice cold coming in the game.
Ben
He will
Joyce.
not fail you.
Yeah.
I mean, even Hader would be nice. I mean, do we need a true closer and then you build a bullpen? I would love to see Saucedo gone.
I think Mariners fans fall in love with the stat line too much with our bullpen.
Well, again,
Colin Snyder, elite arm because his ERA looks good. That
and
dude's
again,
stuff is not elite.
That's on Jerry and Scott. They believed in analytics. They believe in numbers. Numbers are only half the game. What the person does outside of that half, whether they show up to the ballpark and play that day, that is a whole different ball game. And that's what I'm just tired of, at least the narrative in Seattle of people going, oh, well, the numbers say it's good. That's great. You could have the greatest team on paper. But if they can't go out to the ballpark and play, it means absolutely nothing.
You know, if so much for analytics, but remember when
Emmanuel Class A, yeah, he's good.
Scott Service puts in Robbie Ray, which, by the way, I did not blame Robbie Ray for that pitch at all. I didn't blame him for anything. I blame Scott for making the decision. But he went into Robbie Ray because lefty-lefty matchup, and he over-panicked when Jeremy Pena, I believe, was the guy who got a little nice little base hit, and it was with 2 outs. And I was thinking, no, let Paul Sewald just finish it. Just let him finish it. He was going to get out of it, even though maybe Arizona Paul Sewald disagrees. But the point was, Scott Service brings in Robbie Ray, lefty, but did he even check the numbers on Jordan versus lefties? No. And he actually kills lefties more than he kills righties. So, again, even the analytics sense, it didn't even make sense.
The only thing analytically in that at bat that would have made sense is Robbie Ray, I believe, throws a slider and he throws it away. You throw 2 away sliders and then you try to go fastball up inside, which is a risky move because Jordan crushes it. But if you got Jordan off balance and he says he misses that fastball, pops it up or something, That is it. Otherwise, yes, he should have been facing Seawald. Seawald would have gotten out of that inning. We win the game. We go to game 2. Maybe we win, we lose. It doesn't matter. But then that game 3, that 18 innings, when we burn through every pitcher in our bullpen, starter, whatever, then you can go, well, at least we have game 1. This isn't do or die. If we do lose this game in extras, we have a game 4. And there was no tomorrow. That's how they played. And then after game 2, it's like they took it for granted, like, oh, we're going to play game 3. Well, game 3 came and it's like, oh, we have to play now. Gave us 18 innings of wonderful baseball. But at the same time, I also hated that game because it showed we couldn't even get by a stupid single run after the one we got. We couldn't even buy a run. And
Yeah,
that was so frustrating to me.
I didn't like Robbie Ray in that spot, period, because
No,
Robbie Ray is historically erratic. You can't
no,
trust
he is.
him in really any spot. So
No, he is a starter. He is not meant to come in out of the bullpen. He doesn't have overpowering stuff. If he had a 98-mile-an-hour fastball, I'd disagree with you, but he doesn't.
you
He has
know
a
what? With the way the
92,
Mariners
93.
fan base is, we should have just signed Randy Johnson off of his couch. Bring him in, baby.
With that
Bring him
camera of
in.
his.
He said that he
66 years
still has
old.
a
Let's
bucket of
go.
balls by his bed, so maybe he could probably
Yeah.
get 50. I say we go and get Jamie Moyer because no one's gonna hit 30 miles an hour. So
Yo,
I mean,
Dan
we put a
Wilson's
blank
here.
short on
Edgar's
him.
here. Like,
Man,
let's get
you
it
know
going,
what? Let's
man.
just bring the whole 95 team back. I saw this
Hell
funny
yeah.
post where they said Dan Wilson's bringing the whole club back together. They're going to become coaches. Cora's going to come coach third base now.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
He Cora let himself go.
I know. I was about to say, Cora, what's he going to do? Eat all the donuts in Seattle too and just roll the third base? Like, how's he getting down the line?
We better at least go to Portland for that. Like the Voodoo Donuts. That's what he's got to go to.
You already know.
Yeah,
they
let's
a
have
special
Dan
spot.
Wilson. Let's have Tino Martinez. Get him out of his real estate career, which he does.
Yep.
Get him back.
and
Joey
more trucks.
Cora.
Let's get Boone out there. Come
What
on.
about Mike Blowers from the broadcasting booth? I'm sure
Yeah.
he's done saying, trying to fake his way through a broadcast. Vince Coleman maybe still can run. Jay Buhner, let's get him out of his trucking business and see what he can do. Alex Diaz, Rich Amaral.
Let's just get them all back. Let's bring the band back together for what? I mean,
Heck
they wouldn't win. Now, if that team could go out and win us 80 games, hell, I'd rather watch them play every game of the year than this team.
Yeah, this team is just pain to watch.
Yeah, it's hard to take this franchise seriously. It really
No,
is.
it is,
Until they
because
give me a reason to take it
they
seriously,
live-
I'm kind of over it.
All of Seattle sports, and I mean, maybe I'm the only one that knows, they live in their past. They live in the glory days. They don't look forward to the future. Seahawks, everyone is living in the fact that Russell and the Legion of Boom. Well, I'm going to be real honest here. Before Russell and the Legion of Boom, Matt Hasselbeck worked his ass off to try to get that team to win any games, and they had a great season. And everyone in Seattle forgets that Pittsburgh got handed a Super Bowl for Jerome Bettis. They got a cheating Super Bowl. Everyone forgets all about that because, Legion of Boom. Well, what did the Legion of Boom do? They played Tom Brady, regardless of how that game ended, and they let him consistently go down the field on him in the Super Bowl and score. And then Russ came up and had a chance to win it, which, again, they played the Patriots good. They had a chance, and they lost. But no one talks about that. They talk about how they beat Denver. Congrats. They beat a Peyton Manning team that was the number one offense in the league that everyone knew had not played any good defense all year because no one in the AFC had a good defense. The Patriots did not have a good defense in that game, and I think they won by 14 against New England. Like, it wasn't that smashing of a victory. So, I mean, I don't know. I'm just tired of the past living people or people like I'm glad Pete Carroll's gone. I mean, maybe that's sad for people, but he wasn't getting the job done. He wasn't thinking the game. The game passed him by in a sense of he wasn't willing to change how he coached, how he did his thing. The defense was good, but offense was atrocious. Geno shouldn't even be a starting QB in the league. But again, besides of getting off on a tangent, if we could move off the past, I'm great with honoring it. It's cool that Edgar and Dan are back. If they can get the job done, great. If they can't, move on to someone else. But
I mean,
guess
Edgar was already in this position.
Edgar, for me, Edgar isn't the bad hire. I think Edgar's going to be good regardless. It's whether Dan Wilson actually is the one for the job or not. Because Edgar Martinez, we had a good war. We weren't a bad hitting team. I personally think he left because I think Scott Service kind of sucked, and I think Edgar wanted out of that because he was tired of watching his hitters that were kind of progressing get traded away every other season.
Well, I got to get going, boys. It was fun.
Yeah,
But,
I
hey,
don't
real
blame you,
quick,
man.
gun to your heads.
Thanks.
Mariners going to the playoffs or not?
Yeah, I think we do if we win out.
If they went out and everyone takes a crap.
You guys are smoking rocks.
Good.
All right, keep the faith, dudes. I'm out
We're
on that.
keeping the
though.
faith.
Mariners are not doing it.
Thanks for joining the show, Chad.
Of course.
Yeah, thanks, Chad.
Thank you. Great rants out of Chad. Definitely got a huge laughter out of it. And I pinpointed the times.
Funny, sorry, but that was the funniest thing I have ever heard. Of Griffey and his walker, Haniger's back. We went in the
intro, 93 years old.
Dude, it had me going there. I mean, I actually had some good laughs there, but again, I don't know. I really don't know if they get a new GM, maybe pull the plug on Dan. I would hate to see Edgar go at this moment because I'd love to see him with at least one season to try to fix the batting so that if a hitting coach did come in, he'd have a foundation to build off of because whatever's there right now is atrocious.
Really is. But if it makes any fans feel any better for the remainder of the season, on September 3rd, 1995, and I know I'm dwelling on the past, but I'm doing a service for the fans. But on September 3rd, 1995, they were 5.5 games back from the division.
Oh no.
And they figured it out. And even going up as most as September 11th, they were September 12th, they were 6 games back. At around September the 12th in 1996, they also were, and I got the stats right here. They were 9 games back from the division. And they somehow kind of came back, but then they screwed it up eventually. But the point is, there is a shot. Now, before we go, the terrifying vision I have is, even if Jerry Dipoto does get fired, I can see the Mariners hiring some other no-name GM. They're going to hire some
Don Walker or something.
No, they're gonna hire some third-string scout with no experience. Now, if it was a rebuilding time, fine. I don't care. But if it's someone... But we need someone right now that is going to be able to win a World Series before this window closes. And the window is closing. And I was even saying it in 2022 when I said that the Mariners were doing less than the bare minimum. And I saw the YouTube comments. I was getting drilled. They're like, yeah, but that was just one move so far. They still have another whole offseason. Or they still have another half of the offseason. Oh, guess what happened? Nothing. And this was after Colton Wong. This was after Teoscar Hernandez. I said that wasn't enough. I said it was doing less than the bare minimum. I said that Teoscar was a slight upgrade at the time over Mitch Haniger, which I didn't know he was going to be injured for that. Colton Wong, I knew, was a cheap replacement, and they overpaid to get him because they gave away Toro and Jesse Winker. And I think Jesse Winker was, now to think of it, Jesse Winker would be quite useful in this lineup. And I think he was quite a bit misunderstood because although, yes, his defense sucked, he made up for occasional home runs and walking and a fight that arguably sparked a 14-game winning streak. So that's who the Mariners gave up. So, yeah. And Ian, any final thoughts before we take off?
Well, if this is stupid 95 again and we're supposed to be that team, then hold on to your hats, boys, because it's about to get real fun real quick. If it's not, I'm sure we're going to have fun till the end of the season and keep doing these things. I enjoy being on the show. Hopefully the next 2 weeks there should be more of a normal work schedule so I can get on with you during the actual game and we can talk during the real thing because it's fun doing color commentary with you. But, yeah, I mean, just we'll see what happens. I'm not going to hold my breath on stuff because, again, as you and me both know, this team needs to win, and I just don't see it. So I would love to see him do it, but I'd be even more upset if we get there and we end up a game short. Like, that would be more upsetting than just saying, well, we blew it now.
Oh, but remember those fans in April or like July, like, oh, it's just one game. Don't worry about it.
Yep, they've been saying that to Scott for the last 4 years. And how many games has it been? Oh, yeah, that's right. 69 and 70. Scott Service helped this team, regardless of the fact that the last 8 or whatever he hasn't been there. This is his team that he built. So,
and Dan Wilson's now 5-6 as a manager, which is painful because he was at 5-2.
Impressive if you think about it. The fact that he even has 5 wins with this dumpster fire.
Guess you got to give that to him for sure.
I mean, Scott.
But who knows?
Scott was on what, a 6-7 game losing streak before he came in?
There's no way they would have been below 500 by now, by last week, if they still kept him on.
Yeah. So, like, it's just funny to see Dan's getting somewhere with them. The question is it too little, too late?
That's what it's feeling like.
It is. What's your last thoughts? What do you got?
Well, Reese the Beast says all 6 losses were by 1 run, so at least it's keeping Dan Wilson's at least keeping it competitive. It's just that the bats have just got to figure it out, and Dan Wilson's got to find a way to hold them accountable. But will he do that? I don't know. So I just hope Godspeed for the last 2 games, and let's take a look and see who the last 2 of these starters are going to be. I mean, the only positive thing out of today is I got like 6 or 7 strikeouts out of someone in fantasy baseball. We've got George Kirby tomorrow against Sears. I'm not feeling too good about that. As much as I love George Kirby, he's my favorite player on the team. He's been falling apart quite a bit. I mean, he didn't even look that good against the Angels. And then September 5th, Brian Wu is coming back on against Estes. And
I'm going to... Estes has been shaky somewhat recently. I'm gonna hope Wu turns it around. When is the next game you're planning to cover? Tuesday?
As of now, I think Tuesday is the projected. Maybe tomorrow if the schedule works in my favor. Maybe I don't even know. Definitely not Thursday because I'm at work.
Yeah,
and the weekend's gonna be the Cardinals game, so timing's gonna be tough. So I think either tomorrow or next week, and I'm really hoping to do the September 11th game just so I can play a national anthem because September 11th is September 11th.
I thought you were going to play the thing where was it Mike Cameron? No, Sosa runs the field with the flag or Mike.
You know, I could do that. There's a lot I can do. Like do that, and at the end of the game, the whole Mike Cameron and Mark McLemore with the flag. Yeah, you're right. That's an idea. And I'm definitely going to play a serious national anthem. Like, I mean, if I really was stupid, I would play that Carl Lewis goof up national anthem. And the Rockets, red glare. Oh wait, no, it's okay. I'll make up. No, I can't do it for a day like that. Maybe in a lesser holiday, maybe.
Yeah, no, but I'll hopefully join you on those 2 games. If you cover tomorrow, just let me know. But yeah, I mean, they need to win. They need to. We got 2 games left with
Oakland A's.
Yeah, so we need to win both. If we win both, then hopefully sweep, and those 5 games, hopefully Houston loses 3. So that magic number's 2. I mean, that's arguably what we're looking at right here.
And the crazy thing is, as bad as it has been the season, there is still a chance, especially thanks to the other teams losing. But it just keeps giving us false hopes.
That just shows you how bad Major League Baseball is this year, just in general, by the teams. There isn't a team that's clearly out there that's there to win. It's just up and down.
Yeah, very much. Well, that's going to do it for us. And I just want to say, Ian, thank you very much for being on the show. Jay Trident Podcast, thanks for being in the first 3 innings. And Chad, thank you for your huge rant on Mariners nostalgia dwellings. And hopefully the Mariners can come up with 2 wins, split the series at least. At first, I wanted to sweep, and I was like, okay, fine, maybe 3 of 4. Oh, okay, fine. We'll have to settle the split. And what's next? Oh, yay, 1 out of 3, baby. We're so back.
We're back, baby.
Yeah, so, but yeah, again, it's going to do it. And everyone, have yourselves a great night, I think. And painfully sing, Go Mariners.
Go Mariners.